the same time, they give us the same views.
You think so? It's crazy,
so.
how they...
I'm getting with the agency. What's up, y'all? Welcome me in.
Peace, y'all.
Bet you.
No. It's not organic. Peace, y'all.
Another day to tell the truth, man. Another day to tell the truth and shame the devil. How many people want to bring shame to the devil? That's what the truth do. And if you're not the devil, the truth gives you rest. The truth, gives you, what would be the correct word? The truth is peace of mind. Peace of mind would be the best word. If you're not the devil, the truth brings you peace of mind. Now, if you the devil, truth gonna bring a little shame to you. The truth will bring a little shame to you. Now, we not here to shame nobody. Unless you the devil. To you. Now, we not here to shame nobody. Unless you the devil. Everything becomes better. And remember, the streets are golden. So this truth and the streets that we walk in, the streets that we work in, the streets that we drive in, the streets that we play in, the streets that our kids are raised up in will change. So we talking about something, y'all, at this time where we could communicate with everyone, through all out the four corners of the earth, as it's written in the scriptures. The gospel must be preached to the four corners of the earth. Now if you ask yourself, what's the gospel? Is the gospel in the book? These things we have to ask ourselves. Is the gospel in the book? Well, then the book is to the four corners. Why the end haven't came? So something is being said, and like I say, bless those who have the ears to hear, man. It's so important right now. And like I said, it's going to bring that healing to the world. And it's really all about what's being said. And we often, the world, the teachings have diminished the word of God so much. But why is it all about the word of God? Then that's something that's going to be said. What's the word today? It's not, ain't nobody going to hand you a note when you ask them, what's the word today? They're going to tell you something. So the whole word of God is about something being told. The word of God is about something being told. And it's really just that simple. And because we are so caught up with reading, nobody's listening to what's being told anymore. But that's the word of God. Before it was in a book, it was what? Spoken. So what came first is before what came after. And the spoken word came first. So what's being said, y'all, man, is everything right now. It's the healing of the nations. It's the word of God is spoken. It's the word. It's how you get the word. Bless those who have the ears to hear. These things, man, is just, like I said, it's ABC 1, 2, 3. And right now you're dealing with the Pentecostal. It's crazy how in the New Testament it says, people don't even get it. It says at the time of Pentecostal. The Spirit of the Lord will come. Man, that go over people's heads so much, man. It's in Acts, I think, chapter 2. At the time of Pentecostal, the Spirit of the Lord came. Because if the Spirit don't come, which is God, then what? We gonna forever follow what? The pen. We gonna forever follow the pen. So it say at the time of Pentecostal. When you deal with the African, we need to start calling them African strolls, but we call them biblical strolls. Which is that's another the African strolls, almost like they're really African tales, because the African tales was gonna come truth at a appointed time. So really, the Bible is really more African tales. You have a little bit of history in there, but even the history is connected to the tale, because that's why you even have the tale, because of what our forefathers did in the past. So then I don't want to call them fairy tales, but they call them fairy tales because it's someone that's on a higher understanding that's come bringing you information, the alien or whatever. But when you deal with the African tales, you are dealing with stuff about what our forefathers did, and these are learning curves. It's almost like the boy cried wolf. That's what I'm really trying to say. You only got the tale of somebody cried wolf because you seen somebody do it. So now you make a tale of it to bring forth a lesson of what not to do. That's really what the Bible is. I hope that don't go over your head. But it clearly says at the day of Pentecostal. Now, our forefathers didn't read the African scrolls. Our forefathers never read the Bible because the Bible wasn't meant to be read. Who gonna worry their life trying to read a tale? Who would be back then trying to read a book to search out a tale when you got a farm, you building, you raising kids, you got the world to explore? The only way you would start, you would have to be set down, and like these strolls in Africa wasn't passed out. So I'm saying all this to get back to the day of Pentecostal, so you can truly understand what the day of Pentecostal truly is. It's never been a time in history where we have all sat down and read from a pen, and the pen contradicted our consciousness about God. That has never been. It's everything when it came to God. It's always about what we can see and what we can hear. Always. So the day of Pentecostal, y'all, man, I said, I'm just trying to give you a good lens, something real deep to look in. The day of Pentecostal is here. So now you have the acts of what? The Holy Spirit.
So it was Acts chapter 2. I don't know when you want me to stop, but Six, 1, 2.
See, that's why I get the other. I want to stop at the paragraph. Something. And that's another. People don't know when they read the Bible. You get the little paragraphs. Some books. You see how I had a little. Where to stop at? Actually, stop at 13. We can read out at 13.
So Acts chapter 2, and when the day.
Yeah, we're going to Acts chapter 2. When y'all get your Bible, go to Acts, because the day of Pentecostal is. I talk about it, but I know some people so ignorant. We don't know what's truly being said. We think the word of God in a book. So why the hell would I respect somebody speaking? But in order for the Israel to accept God in Moses' time, they had to respect what Moses said. Moses wasn't passing out paper. But we are a generation, that's what? We're in the day of Pentecostal, so we'll throw some so precious. Throw that shit in the trash can. So like right now, when I do talk about the Pentecostal, and like I say, we hit so many points, y'all, to where, like I say, we got to pick up breadcrumbs. But we're going to Acts chapter 2. And again, we talking about the Pentecostal. The world has never read God from a pen. The Africans did not read the African Bible. Our ancestors did not read the Bible because Africa didn't have books or didn't have a Bible that they passed out. There was African scrolls that was put up in a church. If you go to the Vatican, they don't have copies of ancient scrolls. We don't have multiple copies of ancient scrolls. It's one copy. Maybe two. It damn sure ain't 1,000,000. It damn sure ain't 1,000, and it damn sure ain't 100. So when you deal with African scrolls, how could the African people ever read it? How would they pass it out? So let's get into the day of Pentecostal, Acts chapter 2. And you seeing the acts, because everything is being acted out in front of you. But on behalf of the Holy Spirit, and not behalf on what? Handwriting.
So Acts chapter 2. And when the day of Pentecostal was fully come, they were all with one accord in one place.
One accord in one place mean what? Christ, God. Everybody in accordance with the Bible is connected to God. We all in that place. We all in that mind frame. But the day of Pentecostal had fully come.
And suddenly there came a sound from heaven as of a rushing mighty wind, and it filled all the houses where they were sitting.
Did we catch it?
The house.
The voice, the sound. See, a sound came and filled everybody up. It wasn't a book. It wasn't alphabets. A sound, the voice of many waters came. The voice. And filled up the house. Because everybody was in one place with the pen. The pen, it got everybody. That's why I say God works in mysterious ways. So God used the book. God used the Bible. It's cold now.
And suddenly they came a sound from heaven as a rushing mighty wind, and it filled all the house where they were sitting. And there appeared until them cloven tongues like as fire, and it sat upon each of them.
So, you know, the scripture always say, "What Christ give the Spirit." This is what they're saying. When Christ spoke these words, those who heard it receive a cloven tongue. And they begin to speak. The acts of the Spirit to remove the pen that's costing us.
And they were all filled with the Holy Ghost and began to speak with other tongues as the Spirit given them utterance. And there were dwelling at Jerusalem Jews, devoted men, out of every nation under heaven. Now when this has noised abroad, the multitude came together and were confounded, because that every man heard speak in his own language.
So, now what's being said now? It says they was confounded, right?
Because that every man heard them speak in his own language.
Now you had Jews of every nation, because the biblical people have been scattered where? Four corners. So this is dealing with a time, and if you know anything about history, we have never been scattered. We have never been scattered. So this scattering has taken place, but this Spirit has came, and now everybody is confounded because they hearing everybody speak their own language. That means what? Speaking of what they own, like what their own eyes have seen. That's what their own ears have heard. Not speaking about what they have read, because the witnesses gonna hear the sound. And those who hear the sound receive the Spirit and speak of what? Another language. Didn't it say another language?
There, it says in his own language.
No, further up when it said, I thought it said they speak another tongue. Yeah, right here in verse 4.
Yeah,
they
another
speak
tongues.
another tongue, which is another language. Somebody's speaking something different. That's basically what's being said. When they receive the Spirit, they're not going to speak of what the world has told them. Okay.
And they were...
In verse 7.
Yeah.
Acts 2 and 7.
And they were all amazed and marveled, saying one to another, Behold, are not all these which speak Galileans?
So the people were speaking, Wasn't even the people that what? Wasn't even supposed to be speaking. They like these Galileans. That's like saying, what? Ain't these some dumb fools? Galileans would be dumb fools. Ain't these dumb fools? I'm amazed at how this man that's just talking ain't supposed to be talking like this, but I'm amazed. But let's keep reading.
And how hear we every man in our own tongue, wherein we were born. You want me to read all these?
I can't say them. This all the nations. You can read it best of your ability. Unless I can't say them. You know I can't say them.
I'm going to skip to 11. And it says, Greeks and Arabians were to hear them speak in their own in our language the wonderful works of God.
Now, what was they speaking? The wonderful works of God. Now, I know it don't really say the wonderful works that was happening, but that's basically what it's saying. It's not referring to what God did back then. It's referring to what? What they heard. Because what they heard was wonderful. And it's the working of God. I ain't gonna talk too much.
And they were all amazed and were in doubt, saying one to another, What meaneth this? Other mocking said, These men are full of new wine.
So they was amazed twice. But then after the amazement, what happened?
They were full of new wine.
No, they was in doubt.
Oh, yeah, they were in doubt. I didn't know what you were talking about.
After the amazement, yeah, what it was?
And they were all amazed and were in doubt, saying to another, What meaneth this?
So after the amazement came what?
Doubt.
The day of Pentecostal. And why you doubted? The pen.
And it said, Other mocking said, These men are full of new wine.
They on drugs. They on trees. They high, man. Don't worry about them, man. They high. They tripping. Ain't that what they saying? Mm-hmm. Okay. Bible ain't lying then.
Where you get this doctrine from? Who taught you? You know?
Y'all manifesting. Well, what? You fulfilling the Bible just like me.
And then they steal the garments. They steal what you say. And then make it seem like as if they're the ones that's not sinning. You know? But if y'all really paying attention, y'all know. And the real people who know who's been paying attention. We'll get to you, Evolution, after this. Peace to you.
Peace.
Peace. Yeah. What do you mean by Ethiopia is colonized?
Well, brother, you gotta understand, like, what we have come to understand, colonization might mean something totally different than what you take colonization is. But if your history is taken and your mind is changed, that's colonization to us. You know, and the whole world's colonized. When you deal with Ethiopians, a lot of them have white Jesus. If you go in Ethiopia right now, you can find a white Jesus. It shouldn't be no white Jesus nowhere in Ethiopia. No, I don't care what's going on. If Ethiopia was not colonized, it wouldn't be no white Jesus. So we know that's the same Jesus that the colonized African Americans look up to. So when we speak of colonization, we speaking of changing the mind. You know, and the whole world is under this colonization. You know, and even when you deal with resources, Ethiopia lack resources. So you have to rely on other governments to provide for you. You can go to Ethiopia and see this. You can see the Chinese. You can see the other nations in there giving them money. Just like the African Union. The Africans didn't build the African Union. The Chinese did. So when you deal with the infrastructure that was built in Ethiopia, Ethiopia didn't build the African Union. See what I'm saying? So when you deal with things like this what make you colonize.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know exactly what if that is true, but yeah, most of the construction are made by others. But this is a accord, is a like a business deal. Like you build something for me and I give exchange of value.
Oh no, no, no,
Not
no, no. They loan Ethiopia. Ethiopia is in debt. Ethiopia is in debt to these countries. Ethiopia
yeah,
didn't. Ethiopia didn't call the Chinese over here and say, "Build the African Union. I'm gonna pay you this."
yeah. So does every country works with a loan. I mean, even America has trillions of
But brother, we
loans.
say we
America
agree.
ain't a country.
We
America is the United States. America is a gumbo
corporate. It's
pot.
a
It's a
corporation.
corporation. Yeah. So America is, you see all different nations over here. Ethiopia is proclaiming they are never colonized. And see, even when you talk about the Italians, the Ethiopians didn't win the war. Great Britain came in and stayed and told the Italians to leave. And Great Britain stayed in Ethiopia for like 12, 14 years. Ethiopian army. I mean, the Britain army. So Ethiopia didn't win the war. In Menelik time, they defeated the Italians. Great Britain didn't have to come in and move nobody off of Menelik. So when you
Yeah,
deal with when y'all had the battle in 1935 and they took over, that's when Ethiopia lost. You see what I'm saying? This is when your king leave your country for more than a year, it don't belong to you no more.
yeah, but you have to understand the context because if you look the war, it started with Italian had a lot of airplanes, heavy artilleries, and the war lasted. Those 5 years, they were wars. They were war of resistance that weakened the state of Italia, the army. British came at the end, which made them very easy to defeat. But those 5 years were 5 years of war, and if you go deeply, Italian did a lot of massacres, and the reason they did that is because they were very resistant to the colonization. So
Now,
for
brother,
me,
I'm not trying to
yeah,
take
yeah,
away the bravery. The
no, no,
bravery was
that's the
mostly
bravery.
there.
That's
But
no,
like you
no, yeah,
said,
yeah.
they
I
had
agree with you, but
massacres.
yeah,
I
I'm
don't think
telling.
Ethiopians understand that. Massacres, brother. You know, like you said, they had heli artillery and planes. If I don't care how brave I am, if I don't have a plane and you got one, I'ma lose. You see what I'm saying? I'm going. It's no, my braveness can't overpower a plane. And you see what I'm saying? And then you got heavy artillery. So anybody, the Italians wanted to get the why they was the 7 years, any kind of brave Ethiopia, any other tribes that weren't gonna stand for colonization, they got rid of them. That's what we telling you. You see what I'm saying? So a lot of the brave Ethiopians that would have stood, you know, and even fought the British when they would have came in talking about we gonna chill here and watch this. No, we don't need y'all here either because Italia and Great Britain are not Ethiopian friends, and that's
Yeah,
all we saying.
yeah.
They never been Ethiopian friends.
Yeah. No, my point is, if you read in the history in the detail, because most people don't know a lot of history in detail because it's hidden. But luckily, I had a lot of research, and those 5 years were 5 years of resistance. It was not even occupation. The war was still ongoing. Italy only moved forward, but the war was still there. Lot of people, and at the end was the defeat of the Italians. Also, on their religion, if you said is colonized, most of the icons are like Ethiopian skin color, black, brown, and all we do, even our Christianity, is in our language. So I don't see any form of influence or colonization.
So, brother,
But you can say, but we will take, like every country, we will take willingly a good thing from another person. For example, we take the technology from you, but we keep our culture, our identity. You know,
So okay,
that's for
so
me. That's not colonization. It's just improvement because colonization is something forced by you. If
brother,
you do something willingly, it's okay.
no, that's not. You're. Why I say the reason why you have a white Jesus in Ethiopia that wasn't willingly. These things that was forced on you. This is what Tedros was doing in 1868, locking up the British missionaries that was changing Ethiopia Christianity. In 1868, Tedros was locking these missionaries up because they was changing the Christianity. Now, most of Ethiopia was against Tedros. Let's let's get this fact. Now Tedros got unalive, and Johannes, who was working for the British, got on the throne after him. So you are dealing with something that has been secretly put on you without you even knowing it.
Uh, yeah, I mean, if you want to talk about Tedros, you have to know that that was the era uh, of a trip of a war between
No, no,
imperators.
no, no, brother man.
So
I'm not trying to get into the history fact. I only brought
yeah,
up Tedros because you had missionaries in Ethiopia in 1868 changing the
yeah,
Ethiopian Christianity way before Menelik and Haile Selassie was even born. So when we talk about stuff that's been pushed on you, so I'm not really trying to get into the history part about it because some people know the history, some people don't. I'm just talking the effects that been going on in Ethiopia long before the only kings that Ethiopians talk about. Really, most Ethiopians only talk about Menelik because of the war with the Italians, and they talk about Haile Selassie, and a few talk about Johannes because he was Eritrea. And Tedros is mentioned because of his bravery. But before that, that's it.
yeah. I mean, there are also a few imperators because we can talk of King Caleb, for example. We talk about them, but mostly coming back to Tedros, he imprisoned them because he needed weapons, artilleries. He wanted, and you have to know that Ethiopia in that era they had embassies. They would go to other countries for diplomacy, and they had contact with English. And Tedros was trying to get from the queen weapons. So when the queen refused, he imprisoned her fellow. And yes, people talk about it, but we know our history. All the emperors. We do not only talk um, about Tedros or Menelik because there are other emperators who did just as great as Menelik and Haile Selassie too, like
Well, yeah,
Emperor.
people who know, yeah, like somebody like yourself, yeah, of course, you know, it's a lot of but like I said, I don't know, I don't know if you're taking up for the Ethiopians, but you can talk to Ethiopians that a lot of them don't really know their history, and a lot of them have confessed that they wasn't taught these things, and we understand that because of colonization. But go ahead.
Yeah, my question is, you believe that Ethiopia is not colonized, though?
Yeah, 100%, no question.
So even though kings were involved with the British Empire, the original Christianity is not the same Christianity that the Ethiopians worship today. And the fact that they are still doing business work with Italians who invaded their land multiple times, you won't say that's part of colonization.
Uh, are you talking about right now? Like,
Yeah, it's modern time and it's historical because
A,
Ethiopia was part of the slave trade, right?
a leopard don't change his spots.
Would you
yeah,
say
I mean,
Ethiopia was part of the slave trade?
slave trade to where?
In
Where?
Ethiopia.
Yeah, from Ethiopia to where?
To Tanzania, to Kenya, to Uganda, the Eastern slave trade.
Yeah. There were slaves because during the war, the captives.
So
And
what comes with slavery? Like what is installed in people when slavery is happening?
uh, pretty much nothing because our in East Africa slave trade is different, is hierarchy, because if you live in a feudal uh, government, you have hierarchy like a pyramid. There is the imperator, there is the guards, and then at the bottom there are servants, then slaves.
I know.
But
Okay, so okay, that's what I'm saying.
yeah,
What happened to the
but a
imperial
slave,
majesty?
what imperial? Who?
What happened to
No,
the
I'm saying
kings?
what happened to the history of Ethiopia was dealing with imperial majesty. But until once the Italians defeated it, the
Yeah,
imperial majesty left. Why did it leave? Because if you're talking about imperial majesty, the people should not want to throw their majesty away, right? Like because the
I
government
think,
they have now, that's the British,
yeah,
that's the colonizers' way of running the government.
It's a democracy.
Yeah. But Ethiopian history was dealing with imperial majesty.
yeah.
So what
Well,
happened to that?
well, I think he did the most smart move because he thought that he better fight from the abroad, because at that time he was on inside of the League of Nations.
Well, no.
And
I'm not talking about Haile Selassie. I'm talking about what
yeah,
happened to that history of Ethiopia. Why, if Ethiopia is not colonized and it hasn't been changed, why has
yeah,
Ethiopia changed? What makes Ethiopia great? Because the kings and the imperial majesty is what makes Ethiopia great. That's what makes Ethiopia separate. That's why Ethiopia separates itself. So when you deal with Ethiopia now, why you don't have the kings no more? Because of what? And I know the answer, but I would love for you to answer. I would love to hear like what is your reason of thinking?
well, my reason primarily is we've because they faced a lot of attacks, because the second invasion of Italian has destroyed, they killed a lot of people, especially people that were ruling class. So that weakened a bit the government, and there were a lot of foreign enemies and internal also. And I promise you that if the Italy has done a lot of damage, but if there were invasion, Ethiopia would another place, because they destroyed a lot of things.
Oh,
And
and
yeah, is
that's what I'm saying. Well,
internal.
that's the well, brother. That's when they destroyed the imperial majesty. That's when they changed Ethiopia. That's when Ethiopia became colonized. You in agreement with me, but I guess you might not understand, or we might be looking at colonizing in a two different way. If you come in and invade my country and take away what makes my country great, then my country has been taken over. And then you make me change into a government that needs support from the same enemies that destroyed it. Now you have to understand this. Great Britain and Italians are working together, brother. In 1925, they was the ones coming together to make the agreement with Ethiopia. It was the Italians and Britain. They was working together. In World War One, Italia, Italy helped Great Britain. So it's no way Great Britain could come in and fight Italia because they friends.
They ain't really gotta fight.
They're not gonna fight. They might make you think it was a fight, but they not gonna fight the Italians because the Italians are working for them. So The Italians came in and did the dirty work so Britain can come in and set up shop.
Like, can I ask you a question?
Yeah, go ahead.
Like, why do you think that Italy invaded the second time? Why do you think, what's the reason for you?
About so Great Britain could gain control. Great Britain
Um,
wanted East Africa. World
yeah,
War One happened 6 months after Menelik passed. 7 months after Menelik passed. You know, that's why in this document it says, brother, see, this is stuff that the world knew, but they wasn't telling the people. So
yeah.
nobody knew in the early 1900s the Europeans are scrambling for what? Ethiopia. All the Europeans, because nobody had conquered Ethiopia yet. Like, and that's why it was say Ethiopia because of the kings. It wasn't conquered. You know, because before the kings get conquered, they gonna go in the ground. You see what I'm saying? That's the mentality that they had. You know, so right now it says the Europeans gonna have an outbreak. So soon as Menelik passed, World War happened with the European nations for who was gonna gain control of East Africa. That's why when World War II kicked off, Ethiopia was being invaded. Now, why when World War II kicked off, Ethiopia was being invaded? Because it was all about Ethiopia in World War One and World War II. Because the throne of David that governs the world is in Ethiopia. The tribe of Judah come from Ethiopia. Ethiopians don't proclaim the tribe of Judah. You know, so man, this is what we truly mean by colonization. And again, it's changing your mind, brother.
No, I mean, not entirely, but like what do you think? What changed? You know, colonization changes, but I don't see in Ethiopia nothing changed. Our
So
You
our
does
live on the
language is the
rock.
same.
You on the rock, brother. You on the brother.
does Ethiopia still have a king, brother?
Yeah, I mean, this is internal uh,
Just answer the
internal
question.
problems.
No,
Do they have a king?
He trying to say it's an eternal issue. He just said he blaming on the Italians. It can't be an eternal issue if you just blame the reason why they don't have kings on the Italians, brother. You just blame the Italians came in and genocide. They took out a lot of leaders. If you destroy the leaders, you destroy the people.
Well,
This is how you control the people by getting rid of the leaders. That's the number one colonizer rule. Come on, bro. I don't. Do you truly understand how colonizers colonizing you? You know, they keep the kids, they keep the grown men who ain't gonna fight. Any man that will fight, they lock him up or unalive him. And the other people, they not gonna fight, they gonna follow. So what the Italians came and did, they did the dirty work. They killed out all the what they call them betas, masculine or what warriors. Just say warriors. They killed all they got rid of. There was if you was a warrior, you didn't go hide. The Italians, that's why they dropped so many bombs. They did all that stuff, man. You know, and no matter what, you couldn't
yeah, I
fight them.
mean, like you said before that the second invasion that Italy did is because it allied with Britain, right? You said for that to
Well, yeah,
take
yeah,
over East Africa.
yeah. Yeah,
But
because Menelik didn't want to do the treaty with them, and then when they did make up a treaty, Haile Selassie went to the League of Nations and got it thrown out. So they say, well, okay, you ain't gonna make this treaty. Well, guess what? I'm gonna take it by force.
And a lot of people don't talk.
actually, the main reason the second invasion happened was very personal. It was personal because the first defeat caused them a lot of shame. That's why when Mussolini spent more than he could do on the military just to attack, regain their victory, but the main reason was not to take over. It was just vengeance because of the lost. That's the
Brother,
main reason.
you gotta realize, like, it's not only vengeance. These European nations had a scheme. They had a plan. If the first plan didn't work out, they had another plan. If the second plan didn't work out, they had another plan. So it's not about just being wanting greed of power. They already had multiple African countries colonized by them. The reason why Ethiopia was so important is because of the majesty that it holds. It's because of the kings. It's because of the throne that was in Ethiopia. This is the throne that they wanted to desire and keep for themselves. And now Ethiopia don't have that throne. They have to look to Great Britain when it comes to that throne.
Yeah, I mean, still the I mean there are the kings. They are still kings. There is the line of the Solomonic dynasty. They're just not in power, but
Because it's been
still
colonized.
but still this happen. Internal changes happen because
No, brother,
if you
it
look
wasn't no
at
eternal changes. It was because the Italians invaded and destroyed all the leaders, and the people have been getting taken from Ethiopia for many years.
And the people who were in Derg, the coup, the military coup, those people were taught in America.
Being funded by America.
It's all a scheme,
Yeah.
but the Ethiopians are so blind, they can't see what we see.
Like the world is blind because of what everybody been fed. Not just we not just saying the world is blind, but Ethiopia plays a big part in God prophecy right now that Ethiopians don't know about. So if you don't know about God prophecy, you really don't know nothing. You see what I'm saying? So that's what we doing all this for. This way bigger than Ethiopia. You see what I'm saying? This way bigger than trying to, bash Ethiopia. That's not what we up here for. We up here for the facts to help people understand the throne is about to be restored in Ethiopia in the name of God. This is what nobody knows, let alone the Ethiopians should know, but they don't know because of the stuff that's been taken and the stuff has been taught. So you see right here, it was the Angola Italia Convention in 1925 was an agreement between Britain and Italy to establish spheres of influence in Ethiopia, which implied Italy had primary responsibility for Ethiopia's foreign affairs and economic interests. So Italian wasn't just coming there just off. You think they was mad at Menelik? No, they had an agenda. And if you don't know the agenda, then you don't really know why the moves is made. And we get it. So we trying to share to the Ethiopians what was the agenda. Now, this is something that haven't been taught to you. This is something that haven't been told to you. You couldn't go research this. This had to be actually told to you because they weren't going to put it in the book for you. So all we telling you is the intentions behind the things that was truly done. The intentions of why Tedros was unalive. And people understand when they came for Tedros, you know how many people came? They didn't bring that many people for Haile Selassie. They didn't bring that many people for Menelik, but they brought that many people for Tedros. So these things we don't know why. We just was taught certain things, but we weren't taught the things we should have known. And that's what we come to share. The stuff that should have been told to you. It wasn't told to you and it wasn't put in the book. But you can see it had to do, they wanted to control Ethiopia. They wanted to control the trade in Ethiopia. And anything that went on in Ethiopia was going to be in the influence of a Western government. This is facts. This was in the treaty. This is what the treaty was about.
Yeah. The first war happened because of the treaty.
Yeah, they want to gain control. That's what I'm saying. So that's why the Italians was coming over there. Because the treaty included them having control of the influence. If I'm
Yeah,
not
but
colonized, I don't need you to control my finances. And
yeah,
if
but
I'm
it
not
may sound
colonized, I don't need you to control my foreign affairs. If I'm colonized, I need you to do that.
yeah, like it may sound cliche, but the main reason, like I said before, is just for personal reason because they lost and they wanted vengeance. But during those 5 years, it was never occupied, it was never colonized. It was a war that lasted 5 years.
Okay,
Then
brother
at
man.
the end,
You
the Italians were defeated.
Okay,
That's
bro.
that's the true
you told
history.
us that. Yeah, and we understand, brother. We all know that, But if your enemy
Yeah,
come help you defeat their friend, you lost. That's like
You
if
got
I
tricked.
call my enemy to come help me fight, what am I doing? Losing.
You got scammed.
That's all we saying, brother. But man, hey, I appreciate you coming up, brother.
I
I
mean,
appreciate your humbleness. Thank you for coming up,
okay,
brother.
yeah,
Peace, peace.
okay.
You cannot call your enemy to come help you fight their friend. Come on, man. You can't. Like I said, sometimes I be like, hold up, man. You might as well stop talking. We're not living under no rocks, man. Like we're not living on the rocks. It's impossible for that to happen. That was not victory.
Peace, peace to you.
What's going on? What's going on? Peace, peace.
What's happening, man?
What's up? What's up?
How you doing, bro? All good?
I'm good. I'm good, brother. How you doing?
I'm good, bro. Let me ask you this. I don't know if you don't mind. Where you guys are from?
Well, we're from the diaspora of Africa, but I'm from America. We're both from America.
America. Okay. So, like, I don't know. Mostly, I follow you guys both on TikTok, and then I saw like you guys are telling Ethiopia is colonized, but like I don't know what's a bit like the bad and the good side of the colonization. What's the
Well,
impact of in the country, one country, if they says like that country is colonized, so what's the impact of that colonization on those, the people, the land, so many things, it's like change, yeah.
yeah, colonization is gonna help people open their mind to hear the truth.
Yeah, but
Like,
our my so you guys not asking like on the ground in Ethiopia, like what the people feel, and first of all, let me share you this. Like as like a country, we not equal from the European. European is like they will try to negotiate in 16th century, yeah, to conquer Africa, all the country. I mean, Britain side and Germany's, all the like these countries, they want to be conquered Africa. They deal. You understand what I mean?
oh, brother, yeah, well, that's what I'm saying. That's why we saying we definitely know that.
Yes, I mean, they divided, and then they take on the Africa different sides. But
Right.
in Ethiopia, when you come to in Ethiopia, like I'm not saying like you saying like wrong things, but my view try to share you for my brother. Like Ethiopia never colonized, but we lost our kingdoms, like after Solomonic dynasty, because of Dirk. Maybe Americans they support for Dirk, and then because of like the kings, they have planned to study the generation and then change the country. You know what I mean? They send in America in different European countries, and then they come, but when they come back, they brainwashed. You know what I mean? They see like different kind of civilization in America because of the building, because of the roads, because of so many things.
Oh, brother, you can't say that, brother. Like in Ethiopia, you have a light skin and a black skin problem, right?
Nah, that's God work, brother. Don't follow
No,
everything
no, no,
in
no, no,
on the
no,
history side.
no, brother. In Ethiopia, do you not have a light skin? Because we talk to Ethiopian that's on Ethiopian ground, so that's why we
Brother,
have the
brother.
title.
Example,
Brother,
me,
brother, slow
I'm
down.
light
So,
skin. I'm light
brother, you have
skin,
to,
you know?
brother,
You
just
have
slow
to have
down, slow
respect.
down, slow down. you have a light-skinned, dark-skinned problem in Ethiopia.
Is
In
that problem
America,
or we have
in
enough?
America, you have a light-skinned and dark-skinned problem. Because
What
of
does that
what?
mean?
Hold on, bro.
That means because colonizers is the reason why we have that problem. Right?
So, yeah. So, I mean, you
Okay.
mentioned.
Hold
Wait.
on.
Let me ask you in the meantime. You know.
Brother. You have to slow down and listen.
We let you talk.
You have to slow down because what you said was like something. That's why we have colonizers up here. We know what went on in Africa. That's not what we here to really talk about. So we here to talk about the facts. So if the facts that the same thing that's happening in Ethiopia is going on in America, now we all know Americans have been colonized. So when you ask us why we got the title up there, that's a great example to show the colonization in Ethiopia. We just both agreed that colonization is in both places. It's in America and it's in Ethiopia because the light skin versus the dark skin is the colonizer's tactic.
Nah, that's wrong, brother. Nah, that's wrong.
Wait, so what is your definition of colonization?
I mean, colonization is, first of all, one country is conquered by foreign colonizer or whatever, from German or British or other Portuguese, this, that. You know, like they conquered and they change I mean, definitely 100% they control that country. They lead on the top of that country. And then all the soldiers, even the women, they can rape, they can, anything they can do. They change the language, so many things, you know. Now, you guys are telling because of the color. Color is different because of, you know, like the weather condition, because of, you know, you guys are living developed country, you know what I mean?
So I want to ask you this. Why did the Ethiopians help Great Britain in World War II?
Sorry, which one?
Why did the Ethiopians help Great Britain in World War II?
Because of our good connection, you know, it doesn't matter. We are, bro, we are very civilized people.
So I want to ask you this. Is Great Britain friends of Ethiopians?
Yeah, they are friends on the sometimes, and then
See,
you know.
Okay.
Because
I'm glad
of
you answered because that's we just here to show people how people think. If you think Great Britain is Ethiopia friend, we ain't got nothing else to talk about. I ain't got nothing else to talk about.
brother, we believe in God. We you know, like we believe in people also.
Okay, so
when you believe in God, you believe in
Great
countries, you know.
Hold up, the Pope is connected to Great Britain. The Pope been sleeping with babies, all kind of stuff.
No, they betrayal us. We not betrayal them because we have friendship. We all friend since Russians lead by kings. We are friends with Russian also. You know what I mean?
Yeah, we know that.
Russia cool.
We understand that.
Yeah, Russia.
So what do you mean? What do you mean? British?
Did.
You mentioned British. British, one of the country, and then we are friends. They shift us from, you know, for example, you have white friends, you know, with black friends also. Your color is black.
We're not talking about the skin color. It has nothing to do with it.
Nah. You mentioned.
It's about the history and the.
Nah. Before you mention colors.
All right, bro. Hey, brother, man. Thank you for coming up, brother. We appreciate you.
Nah, I love you. I love you, my man.
Oh, no. Love, brother. Hey, ain't no love lost. Ain't no love lost. It's just conversation, brother. Just conversation, man. But
no, brotherly love. I love you, and then I always following you guys. But the way you seeing like Ethiopian history is different way, you know, and then our Ethiopian view is different as well. Yeah, I like you. You have to see it. But we never colonize. But also we work with China. Like I heard before that guest you mentioned because of you know, some infrastructure, some workers. You guys are work with China, and then because of that you guys are colonized. That's absolutely false. Because like, you know, we work with all of them. But anyway, sometimes you guys have mentioned it because of maybe white people's writing that history, and then depend on that history you mention it different way. Anyways, I appreciate for taking me. So all the best, you guys. Yeah.
All right, brother. Peace, man.
All the best, bro.
Peace.
That's why I said in that video, I'm like, Africa woke up recently talking about decolonizing Africa, getting away from the European powers. But Ethiopia, where the African Union is at, they want to keep working with the European powers. And act like it's these are our friends. We see them as Ethiopians. That is ridiculous. That's beyond brainwash.
Yeah, beyond.
You want me to play or you want you want me to play or
Good. Can you play it on there? Like, can you play it like a green screen?
I don't.
Like the videos, do they have a video green screen? They ain't got the video. I seen some. I guess you gonna. Do
I
that
seen
on-
something where it was like as your back camera and your front camera or something like that. But I'll go to the guests, guys. Peace, peace.
Greetings,
Peace. What's up? What's up?
greetings. I heard you earlier mention colonization, right? And you were referencing the problem in Ethiopia and the colonization. What's your
Okay.
take on America's colonization?
Oh, same thing. We all been colonized with the same thing. Like they use the Bible, they use religion, to make us submit to their system, their way of life, their way of thinking. So that happened to the whole world. So like I say, it's basically the same thing. It's just different government, different places.
So, with that stated, why Ethiopia? Why not build or change what's going on in America?
Because the throne come from America was writing about the king that was in the east. That's why Marcus Garvey came before the Nation of Islam and before all these religious organizations that we began to join and had us looking to go back east, where we truly will be taken care of. Many people have tried to work here and they have not got nothing done. You can't put a Band-Aid over something that needs surgery. So a lot of these people just have put Band-Aids on and provided us things to watch us suffer. We still watch our people suffer. So Ethiopia is where the throne is at. Like Ethiopia will govern America. So by understanding that majesty, that's why we have Ethiopia.
Where you say Ethiopia will govern America?
Yeah, the throne governs the world. Right now, you know what governs America? The British Crown. The British Crown
No,
governs
that
America. It's facts.
international bankers govern and control America.
Yeah, they
That's
back
why
up by the
Trump
crown.
will be going. That's why Trump is at Venezuela right now because of the oil reserves in Venezuela because of the international bankers. That's not Great Britain. That's the small hats, the
The
Jews.
international bankers are Europeans. The
That's the
international
Jews.
bankers. I'm sorry.
Jews.
The Jews are in Israel, correct? Which is in the Middle East, which is also connected to the United Kingdom.
Jews aren't necessarily a people. They're like a organization. They're like a group. Like Sammy Davis Jr. was a Jew.
Is this
You
D1?
have
No, is this D1?
D1.
Yeah.
D1 who?
Thanks for coming up, brother.
people, boy. Washington D.C., where the president is at, is a corporation.
Hey, how you doing?
Come
Peace,
on, man.
peace.
What's going on? Peace, peace.
Yeah, you caught my eye. I thought Ethiopia was the only place that wasn't colonized.
It's time to tell the truth, my brother. Time to tell the truth.
Yeah, like I'm from Philly.
Like,
The reason why I got this Washington State thing up here is because they really showed who the red man was. But I'm listening.
you can say that. That's why I say, man, you had Indians in Ethiopia. You had feather hats in Ethiopia. So the story, it happened in Ethiopia. Like all the stories that Lion King, all this stuff that they put on Disney, all this is an Ethiopian story, man. They just tricked us. The Indians come from Ethiopia. When you deal with, look at that right now, Indian hat on, but this is a king that America is writing about. And Ethiopia been dealing with America, man, since the late 1700s, the early 1800s. So when you talk about East African slave trade, they always try to talk about West. They always want to connect us to West. Mm-hmm. That's why Marcus Garvey, I was telling the brother, Marcus Garvey, when you deal with all black movements in the early 1900s, all of them was connected to East Africa. Why? Why was when you look up every black movement from Marcus Garvey to before the Nation of Islam, Marcus Garvey, Georgia, what's his name? What his name, babe? Georgia, what is D.W. Du Bois? All the pastors, all the black pastors, the Abyssinia Church in New York.
Even what's the boy name? The Jamaicans was
Marcus Garvey.
Not Marcus Garvey. I'm talking about like
Haile Selassie. Haile Selassie. Yeah. Ethiopia. You see what I'm saying? So, but we was never taught the history, and we was never. That's why our names was changed. You see what I'm saying? Because they wanted to get us from East Africa. Now, all black people don't come from Ethiopia, but when you're dealing with the East African slave trade, that's where most of the African Americans came from.
All right, but so let me just tell you this about Ethiopia right now, like, cause I did eight years in the military, okay. And I happened to go over there on one of my vacations. There's no Indians left over there. They're all from Arabic. So they're from the Ottoman Empire. They're just mixed in.
Well, that's prophecy. That we was gonna be. The prophets told us to leave that country because that country was gonna be invaded because of what the kings was doing. That's the whole biblical story. So most of the people did leave. A lot of people got slaughtered. That's why a lot of people are in the mountains, and you got a lot of people in the countrysides. Like if you go to the capital, that's what you're gonna see. That's like right now, if you go in the city to really see the slave people, you really got to go in the countrysides. Mm-hmm. When you go to the city, you're gonna see diverse.
Right.
In anywhere you go. So definitely, if you go to Ethiopia and go to the city, you ain't gonna see the originals. You're gonna see the diverse.
Yeah. But see, there's a difference between Somali and Somaliland.
Okay, enlighten me.
Now, I don't know. I haven't done my education on it. I just know that one of them is originally from there and the other one is not. That's all I know about it.
Okay. Yeah, well, like I said, it's a lot of invade, bro. And that's why we got this title up here. It's a lot of that. That's why you have that light skin and dark skin fight over there. Yeah, that's what all that about.
What's the connection to the queen?
What queen?
Queen Elizabeth?
Yeah.
Queen Elizabeth
it has to be a connection. It has to be a connection to the queen. I don't know how they were able to stay stable like that without a connection to the queen.
What you mean? Like who? I'm saying, who you referring to staying stable?
Ethiopia.
No, Ethiopia ain't never had no connection. Ethiopia had agriculture and trade with a lot of people, but they also had the biblical scrolls. That's why you had a lot of East African countries that had stuff. But what set Ethiopia aside, they had the ancient scrolls.
Ah.
You see what I'm saying? That's what set Ethiopia aside for other African nations.
Okay.
So the scrolls gave Great Britain power. It gave Great Britain authority over the world.
Mm.
See what I'm saying? This is why they mimic the same kings from Ethiopia. The same way Haile Selassie was anointed is the same way they do it in Great Britain. The same exact way. So by them taking that power, this is what make, and that's what World War I and World War II was about. Who was gonna gain control of East Africa?
Mm.
You see what I'm saying? But this is what the world don't know. You know, so Great Britain was the ones that end up winning World War II. They the ones that end up winning Ethiopia over, and that's when they was able what? To establish and control the world. So everything is owned by the crown right now.
And the biblical prophecy was so important to still is the reason why everyone believes in a Christ that they created, a false Christ that came in the past when the prophecy, the Ethiopian prophecy, is about a Christ coming in the last days
Mm-hmm.
to restore this throne that's not there anymore.
Right. So I get like mixed information. Like I'm talking to certain of how would you call them? The I people, not the Illuminati, but before they become Illuminati, the Masons. I talked to a couple of Masons, and they were telling me how the America is the Africa, and like the maps are backwards and upside down.
Well, you know, the thing about the lie, it keep changing. The truth remains the same. So this is a newspaper from the Washington Times writing about a black man in the 1900s connecting him to the tribe of Judah. And I'm saying, this from the Washington Times in 1906, brother. What we got behind you? Connecting a black man that's never been in slavery now. And and see, that's why I say when Menelik got unalive, Menelik passed away in 1913. When did World War I kick off?
World War I kicked off right after the Civil War, after the reconstruction of the Civil War, right?
You can say that. A little bit after that, yeah.
So I would say about like Reconstruction is like 1856 to 1930. So I'll say after 1930, that's when, the war probably started.
World War I kicked off in 1914. World War II kicked off in 19. You talk about World War II.
Oh, okay.
World War I kicked out in 1913. 1914. 6 months after he passed.
Right.
Now check this out. This is the Washington Times. We might have to make it bigger. You gotta make it bigger.
No, I can see it. But
you see it?
Yeah.
This part right here.
Because you probably gotta do it with the joint with your palm and bring it in, because sometimes it messed. Oh, there you go, perfect. Menelik Abyssinia, the most democratic of all. Finish that for Monarch.
Yeah, Monarch.
Seriously ill, says dispatches from the capital of his empire to Rome. And what you mean to Rome?
Listen, the empire, this throne rules the world, brother. But if you take the originals, scatter them all over the world, and never teach them about the throne, we don't know what to fight for. We fighting for American freedom.
Right.
And it says, if he should die, an outbreak menacing the safety of European representatives would likely be followed by a fierce scramble among the powers of his rich domain.
So the European powers are going to scramble for his rich domain.
Now, so where did Alasia come from then?
No, this where Haile Selassie come from. But when Haile Selassie got on the throne, like Haile Selassie wasn't chosen to be on the throne.
No, he wasn't.
People got unalive, and he was next in line. This is what nobody want to say because they worship Haile Selassie. Now, like I say, he did good things, he did bad things. You see what I'm saying? But at the same time, we must tell the truth. People was unalive, and he was next in line. You see what I'm saying? So he wasn't even, destined to be on the throne.
Nah.
So you gotta understand when Menelik. This is why I'm saying when Menelik passed, they was gonna take over because Menelik didn't have nobody to put on the throne, and the person that was next up, he was 10 years old. So Menelik's daughter took the throne. This what really made the European powers mad.
What's her name?
Zaitu.
Zaitu?
Yeah, she was over Haile Selassie.
Okay.
Now Haile Selassie went to war with her husband because her husband disagreed with what Haile Selassie was doing with foreign affairs. He was in disagreement. I don't really know what was the disagreement, but her husband was in disagreement with Haile Selassie because Haile Selassie was over the foreign affairs. Because the Europeans, they didn't want to talk with Zaitu. So she had to send Haile Selassie. And that some happened, and he ended up going to war with her husband, and the husband got unalive. A week later, Zaitu ended up passing. And now he's next up. That's how Haile Selassie got on the throne.
That's fishy.
And this is facts. You can look this up, bro. This is facts. You see what I'm saying? So when I tell people the throne was diminished after Menelik, I don't say that to step on Haile Selassie. I say that.
No, you just putting the truth out there, bro. I understand. You just putting the truth. So you said it's called the Stros?
Yeah, it's called, yeah. Matter of fact, they was taken from an emperor named Tedros in 1868.
So who has the Stros now?
The Vatican, they're in Great Britain.
Oh, they in the second one? The second Vatican?
I don't know the second or the first one.
They got two Vaticans, bro. They got two Vaticans. One in
Italy. Like I say, I don't know which one. I just know they got them. They're in the museum, like hidden.
Yeah, they're not gonna give it out. They're gonna tell the truth about
that.
The
only way they give that back, like this is what Queen Victoria said before she passed. She wished she was living when King David walked the earth. Now she was talking about prophecy. Now remember, right now, this black man is representing King David. That's why he's from the tribe of Judah. Like that's what King David is. But like I say, it's allegory. King David it's allegory. We don't know it's allegory. They know it's allegory. We don't.
They try to say that Queen Elizabeth was a part of the tribe of Judah. That's why they were doing a lot of our ways within the in the royal family. Like when she died, she had a scepter, and when they broke the scepter, that means her spell was done and over with.
Well, you gotta realize Haile Selassie gave the Great Britain Queen Elizabeth when they were meeting with each other the highest order of the Solomonic gift. So Haile Selassie gave them. This is information from Ethiopia, from his own family.
Bullshit.
Man, he gave it to him. He gave him the highest order.
He just gave it away. Like, here you go.
He gave the gift. Yeah, but yeah.
That's why there's no one after him.
Damn. It gotta be. It's a lot of us that's just scattered. We're scattered.
Oh yeah, but and that's why right now we able to have. It's crazy how we could come on this social media platform and talk with scattered people all over the world. Look at God. See, we don't value it because what? We've been flooded with so many lies. We've been flooded with so information, so we don't value, or we can't value because it's so much. So you really gotta know, because if you don't know, you're not gonna value. Only when you know, you're gonna value it.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? So that's why the calling is going out. Many are called, but how many are chosen?
But see, not a lot of us really know though. So it's like people want like undeniable truth. So it's like, how can you get like I be trying to tell my own family, like, how can you get undeniable proof when it's either burnt, destroyed, or taken away where we don't know where it's at?
It's not in the book.
Well, that's why you got the few that's gonna make it happen. It's, see, when I
It
this is what I
used to
found
be.
out.
It used to be. It used to be in a book.
No,
but
it
we
was never
started
in the
reading.
book. No. This is what I was saying earlier before you came on. The Africans never read the Bible. You know why? Because it was scrolls and then wasn't no extra copies. See, we don't look at it that way because we so emotional of the lie.
And
You
so
look at it,
and so modernized.
yeah.
to think
The kings weren't passing out the scrolls because why? There was prophecies. Why would I waste my time reading a prophecy?
Right.
That's a waste of my time. This is why they gave us the book.
Right.
And they made you believe in the fairy tales. So now you daydreaming, you know, and not really understanding what we have to do. So when you know the truth, you do. When you don't, you daydream. So we daydreaming about Christ cracking the sky. We daydreaming about aliens. We daydreaming about spaceships. We daydreaming about a lot of stuff.
That's just a distraction.
Distraction. That's what we distracted with. Because if somebody daydreaming, they can't. You ever been on a job, somebody that daydream, be like, damn, man, hold this. But he daydreaming. You see what I'm saying? So that's why we can't get no work done. Because we don't. So the truth gonna make us get up. The truth gonna make us stand up. But the truth is not for everybody. It's gonna benefit everybody, but it's not for everybody. It's for the few who gonna do the work of God. If you're not gonna do the work of God, you don't need to know the truth.
This is some good information for me. That's why I definitely came on when I seen this. I knew I was going to learn something today. But I'm about to go do some research on it. I'm following Arch Evolution. So whenever y'all make a live or whatever, I'm going to pop in, say what's up, show love.
That's what's up, brother.
Enjoy the rest of y'all day.
Likewise, bro. You know, that's a lot of things we try to do. We try to go tell our family the truth, which, you know, it ain't that, you know, if they don't accept it, that means they don't really, they can't do that kind of work. They're not built for that kind of task. You know, I know a lot of times we might get frustrated with our family because they don't want to hear the ultimate truth. But at the end of the day, they're not really qualified or ready to do the work. Then they don't need to know the truth. But truth gonna bring forth change that everybody gonna have to be a part of. That's why when America changes policies, no matter how much we be like, man, America, the policy is changed. You know, that's how it's gonna be with the truth. You know, it's done.
So, let me see. Ethiopia's. So wait, are you saying Ethiopia has been colonized? Or are you what is it? Like, what are you saying?
Ethiopia is colonized.
How long?
But-
How long have you been listening, brother?
I've been here for maybe like 20 minutes. The guy that was here, I was here when he came on.
All right. So yeah, so you ain't get the conversation we was having earlier.
Yeah, but I mean, in Ethiopia, we don't celebrate. We don't have Independence Day. We have Victory Day, Adwa Adel. We call it Adwa Adel. We call it Victory Day. So we don't, you know how countries they celebrate Independence Day because they were colonized by the countries. But Ethiopia, we every year we only celebrate Victory Day. If you look, I don't know if you know the history of Adwa. That was the war
brother,
between.
Yeah. We know. Yeah, we know all about it. But that's the see. Menelik defeated the Italians.
Right.
Haile Selassie lost. You know why Haile Selassie lost?
That's an echo.
You gotta go on mute. You gotta echo.
Hold on, let me-
Yeah. So this is what I was saying earlier. The Ethiopians did not win the war the second time because Italia is working for Great Britain. Great Britain came and told the Italians to leave so they can set up shop. Matter of fact, the Italians was going to Ethiopia on behalf of Great Britain because Italian wasn't the one that wanted the what? The treaty. It was really Great Britain. So Great Britain can influence the government and control its foreign affairs.
Well, are you talking about the Treaty of Wuchale?
Well, yeah.
So, I mean, officially, the Treaty of Wuchale is between the Italians and the Ethiopians.
No, and Great Britain.
Well, officially, I mean that's your belief, but officially, it's between Italy and Ethiopia. And then when they raid, it was I think it was it wasn't in Amharic. And when they interpreted the treaty to Amharic, they realized Ethiopia realized they're saying, oh, we're gonna take we're gonna make the big rules in Ethiopia, and also we're gonna get Eritrea. So Milik was like, nah, that's not gonna fly with me. And then that's why the war happened, because there was a disagreement.
We talking about the second time.
That was Haile
Right
Selassie.
now, it says the Angola Italian Convention in 1925 was an agreement between Britain and Italy to establish shares of influence in Ethiopia.
Yeah, I'm not talking about this one. I'm talking about the Wajari treaty. The treaty.
But no, I know. But you said earlier, Ethiopians defeated the Italians in Menelik time, not in Haile Selassie time.
Right, but the treaty was with Milik. So that treaty.
I know, but brother,
Yeah.
in 1925, this is after Menelik is gone.
Yeah, exactly. Oh yeah, this is a different. Yeah, this is a different.
That's what I'm saying. So this has been established now, and this is proof. This is why what the Ethiopians call the Italians friends now. At one point in time, when you had the kings, they was enemies. Now your kings are gone.
Wait. No, Ethiopians don't consider Italians friends, even now.
Okay, well, let's play the video. Your government do. Your government calls Italian friends.
Was it Abiy Ahmed? Which leadership? Are you talking about Meles? Let me see. Is there a video?
We finna show it.
Okay.
Matter of fact, it's also on the page.
In our stay here, totally 180 million euro support agreement has been signed. It essentially helps with Ethiopia's development efforts. We have understood what a true friend is. We have seen it from our visit and from you and the government of Italy. Italy has done an exemplary deed. Italy has many times been with us in the time of difficulties. We have a strong desire to cooperate with your government. A number of Italian companies are currently operating in Ethiopia. We think of them as Ethiopians. We want to work together with Italy on expanding investments, capacity building, strengthen military and intelligence cooperation.
You need to play it again?
Yeah, no. So this is they talk about economical development.
Brother, they say
So this one is like
they call Italians their friends. They are Ethiopians to us.
Yeah. But right now they're talking about
Brother, I'm just showing you this is how your government thinks of Italy.
Yeah, and this is like they're referring to private companies. It's about development. Right now, we work with Canada, we work with Russia, with China, with a lot of countries as part of the private companies. Right, the development, they come to the country and they develop the country. So from that perspective, yes, they might consider them not like friends as a country, not government wise, but in terms of partnership. Like the companies, they have good companies. That could come and work. Even French right now, they're working with Ethiopia to build a navy, in Ethiopia.
Brother, it's not the revolution to kick European powers out of controlling Africa. We can trade with Europeans. We can even be their friends. That's not what we're not saying. But kick them out of Africa because they control the influence. Bill Gates was in Ethiopia. So that's what I'm saying. This is what colonizers do. They don't stand over you and control you. They put people in power to control you.
But if you look, the distinction about Ethiopia is, if you look at Ethiopia, I was there. I just came back about 2 months ago. Everything in Ethiopia is owned by Ethiopians. So how the countries you see other nations, foreigners owning, for example, in Kenya, a lot of other nations own a lot of big things. But in Ethiopia, all the real estates, all right now they have gas. Then now they're gonna have the nuclear deal with Russia. All these things are owned by Ethiopians themselves. So if you go to Ethiopia and you go to if you see anything, a lot of times, 99% of the time, Ethiopians own it. So that's why Ethiopia has leverage against like foreign countries or foreign, even Trump when he was talking about
Hey, brother.
destroy the Trump, the
Who
dam.
owns the African Union? Who owns the African Union?
Well, I mean, the African Union was founded by Ethiopia or by Haile Selassie.
What?
Yeah, it wasn't
No,
called
it
African
wasn't.
Union.
The African Union was not funded by Haile Selassie.
Well, who was it founded by?
The Chinese.
Okay, go search up. Say who was the founder of African Union. Just search up on Google right now.
We finna look. You need to ask it. That's what we telling you. You saying Haile Selassie, but we gonna look it up.
Yeah, look it up. Who founded African Union? Who was the first founders of African Union?
No, not founders. Who funded it?
Funded it?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm talking about funding. The fund. I mean, it could be. I mean, China's right now. China's like for Ethiopia especially.
So,
They're
brother,
the biggest ally.
Bro, that's like right now. If I buy a car, but I gotta go to the bank to get the money, then the bank owns the car until I pay off the loan. You get it?
Yeah, but not for Ethiopia.
Okay, so if I don't have the money to build my own, but I gotta get the influence of other nations, then the nations own it.
Well,
until
I mean,
what? I pay them off.
But think of it this way. For example, America, has what, a 38 trillion debt. That doesn't mean they're enslaved or they're held back by these nationals, especially China. They owe a lot of money to China, but that doesn't mean that China controls America. The same way in Ethiopia. I mean, right now we only owe like $4 billion, and our GDP is $50 billion a year, and they're saying the new dam is supposed to produce about $2 billion, and overall it's supposed to expand to $7 billion a year just from the dam itself. And then we have.
So I ask you this, then, brother, because you're right. The dam is it's gonna produce the most electricity in the world. So I ask you this: how did the colonizers colonize Africa? By bringing what? A white Jesus, right?
Man, in Ethiopia though. So in Ethiopia,
No. That was just a question. Like the same way the African was colonized by bringing a white Jesus. I'm just trying to make sure we're on the same page.
Yeah, but when you say Africa,
Okay, hold on. So when you go to Ethiopia, don't you see a white Jesus?
Not everywhere. So that's what I'm saying. There are people that believe in that, and there are people that don't believe in that. If you go to especially the Amhara region,
But it's in Africa. It's people in Africa that don't believe in white Jesus.
Right.
And America. But
Right.
they still colonized. So when we say Ethiopia is colonized, your government is controlled. You don't have a port. You're landlocked. And you didn't defeat the Italians because your enemy came in and told their friend to leave. Great Britain unalive your emperor. Unalive his wife. Burnt down Magna.
Which emperor? Which emperor?
Tedros. Great Britain.
No. Oh yeah. Tedros.
Yeah.
Well, for us, I mean, okay. So if you look at that
Tedros
history
was a
right
bad
there.
man?
I mean, from the
who was the bad guy?
So it depends on whom, right? For the Ethiopian history, okay, you know how Ethiopia has a lot of tribes, right? Ethiopian history is murky. It's not very clear. If you look at Milik, for example, there are people that say Milik is the best, and there are people that say Milik is, the worst. And same thing with Haile Selassie. With Ate Tedros, he's one of the best of all the kings we had, because after him we had Ate Yohannes, and Ate Yohannes is, we believe as Ethiopians, we believe he is the one who gave informations, and he gave them the path for Britain. Because when the Britain came to Ethiopia, they came through Tigray, through Ate Yohannes. And when they left after, we don't believe they killed him. He killed himself, because he didn't want to he didn't want to be a prisoner, so he killed himself, right? When they came back, they gave their weapons and stuff like that to Ate Yohannes. And Ate Yohannes took over. And then he got killed in Sudan by the.
You gotta say unalive. You can't say that.
My bad. Unalived, by the, what do you call them? I forgot their name, but there's a group he was fighting, the Muslims, and he went to Sudan and they killed him. And then Milik came to power, and then even Milik was arrested and jailed by Ate Tedros because they're thinking this guy is inciting revolt and trying to take over. So he was arrested, and then the people that were living there in the area he was imprisoned in they broke him from prison, and they freed him, and then he took power. So it was like a continuous of, like, emperors taking power, and they fighting. We didn't have Ethiopia as we know now. It wasn't like one ruler, one Ethiopia.
Well, yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, that's what the Bible talk about. The Bible is about. That's what the Bible is about. The kings unaliving each other, but then the Bible is about what? God gonna raise up a Christ, and he gonna be the carpenter to rebuild the throne. And see, this is the colonization trick. They tricked us to believe in a historical Christ when Christ comes in the last days to restore the throne in Ethiopia.
What do you think what do you think is Ethiopia?
Huh?
What do you think is gonna be in Ethiopia? Or
Brother, it says Menelik is from tribe of Judah. In this article, the Americas is writing about Menelik, and he's from the tribe of Judah.
no, well, okay, so they got that wrong. So he's not from the tribe of Judah. He was when he was born in Shawa, Romeo, right? And they confused two Meliks. There is a Melik. People believe he was from Sheba, Queen Sheba, and Queen Solomon. There's Melik one.
Allegory, brother.
No, you know the Melik they're talking about. There's two Meliks. So there's two Meliks.
No. You gotta these writings are allegory. Queen Sheba and Solomon is the same thing as Joseph and Mary's story. It's the same story. Somebody having a son, and this son gonna have the wisdom of God. But again, you don't understand these things because of colonizers. So Menelik would be what? The son of Solomon and Sheba, because this is the one who has the wisdom of God sits on the throne.
You know
But
how
the
many
Bible-
years?
Hold on, I just want to say this. The Bible says those who sit on King David's throne did evil in God's eyes. You see what I'm saying? So we don't put these kings up here and put them on pedestals as if, but we do have to give them what they truly were. And they was the ones that represented King David. King David had what? Blood on his hands. So he couldn't build the Father's kingdom. It represents these kings. But somebody gonna come from David, which is allegory, and rebuild the throne of David. So these men, these kings, sat on King David's throne. This is what make Ethiopia great.
Okay, so let me ask you this. Two questions, right? One, do you know the difference between the years, right? The year difference between Solomon and then the Melik we have now, that we had in the 1800s. You know how many years passed between them?
You didn't hear me, brother. Solomon is allegory. Solomon represents the chosen one from David. That's all Solomon represents. Solomon is not a historical figure. The colonizers taught you that.
So you don't believe Solomon existed at all?
The colonizers taught you about Solomon, brother. You don't believe in Solomon?
We do. What do you mean?
So where is Solomon descended then?
So we believe he was.
That's the question. If you believe in Solomon, you know who Solomon is. Where is Solomon descendants?
Like, I mean, I gotta do research, so I don't know where he's descended from, but I know he lived in the Yemen area, and then
If you don't know his descendants, you don't know he lived. That was told to you by the colonizers.
No, they've done like research in that land.
Who is they?
And they found things. Even the people in Yemen, if you talk to people in Yemen.
So Solomon from Yemen?
Yeah, from Yemen. Sheba and Solomon. There's something about Yemen though. I know Sheba. She had a kingdom in Yemen. It might be Sheba, but she had a kingdom in Yemen, and they found traces of that in Yemen. And we don't believe him as like allegory. We believe Solomon existed and Sheba existed, and they had a kid, and then people believe in Ethiopia.
So why did Menelik tell the Europeans he was from Solomon?
He didn't tell them himself, you know that, right? He didn't say.
No, that's what the Europeans wrote down, that Menelik proclaimed he was from a descendant of Solomon.
Where did it say that?
Can we pull it up?
Pull it up. Let me see. Because even, for example, Haile Selassie, like if you look into Jamaica, they think he's a god, they see him as a god and stuff. But in Ethiopia, we don't see him as such. We just see him as a king. Meanwhile, anxiety better felt for them in that
It's up here, but
the East
It's all
come
the way at the top. No. It said the Europeans often laughed at him.
King of Kings as he's King of Kings. Shemelech, which is another according to which one's the capital of the wrong chosen one there. The conqueror of the time of Judah. The East come to the. Yeah, but what it doesn't say he claimed though. He claimed to be.
Hold on, bro. Let me get.
Okay.
No, it
says it. The first one says it.
No, it says the Europeans. Like I'm talking about when he proclaimed it. The Europeans used to laugh at him. It says.
Because historically, it doesn't quite align. Like when you look at into history and you look at, there's two Melechs anyway. There's the first Melech, which people believe is from Solomon and Saba.
But you gotta understand, like the biblical scrolls, the biblical manuscripts that were in Ethiopia weren't about history. It was about a prophecy. So when the British Empire came into Ethiopia, they stole these scrolls and gave a false history. That's why you have a false Christ.
No, but we have the.
Christ.
But we have the Bible. We have the old. I mean, one old, not the oldest.
The Bible doesn't have dates. It's written for a prophecy. It's a vision.
No, so but what people do is, I mean, not everything. So you think everything in the Bible is like just a vision? Because it makes historical.
It makes
claims.
historical references when we're talking about the scattered Israel.
Yeah, even right. In the Egypt, in the Pharaoh, in the king, and all that, it talks about those things. And sometimes what people do is they look at that time frame, and they even, for example, Jesus, like how Jesus has like the lineage and stuff, the lineages of the what is it? I forgot, but they count the lineage as well, and then from that they kind of guess how long it is.
Oh, okay, so I'll just send it.
But
we're gonna send the image, brother. Hold on.
Okay. But Ethiopia, if you look at Ethiopia, even during Melech, it was divided by a lot of tribalism. So even to this day, they have a lot of tribalism within the country. And that's why, a lot of times where power comes from. Like if you're from this tribe, because during that time, if you look at it, it was only from like the northern region, or either Oromos or the Amaras or Tigres were the ones ruling, were the ruling party, not nobody else, not the southern, And that tells you that it's more tribal influenced than anything else.
But brother, Ethiopians always had the tribal influence. That was able the Europeans to come in and take over. It was tribal influence.
I'm saying before them. I'm saying before the Europeans, they had that.
Oh yeah, most definitely. Yeah, it most definitely. Like I said, and that's the Bible history. The Bible history is dealing with the era of princes. The era of princes happened in Ethiopia.
The era of princes. So explain that. Elaborate. What does that mean?
You don't have an anointed king. You just have a bunch of princes. That's why Tedros. You gotta understand, when the Europeans came, got Tedros, they came with thousands and thousands of people. They built the whole city to infiltrate Tedros.
But you know why they came, right?
But I'm saying the era of the princes. So when Tedros became king off the divine power of God. But the Bible was always talking about what? Israel never wanted to respect their king. Israel never wanted to listen to God. The people in the Bible never wanted to listen to God.
Right.
So God was going to scatter them. God was going to tear their kingdom down. This is what happened to what? The Solomonic dynasty empire, which comes from Ethiopia. But Ethiopians don't look at it in that way because of what the colonizers and the influence of the colonizers. But the King David throne that the Bible is talking about is the same throne that's in Ethiopia. So right now, this is what we're talking about. What Menelik proclaiming he was from the Solomonic dynasty. This is what the Europeans said about him.
It says Menelik is respected by foreign countries because he never fails to keep his word. He is well informed and has marked executive ability. He knows how to handle people and is an able diplomat. Europeans regard as a great joke his Solomon ancestry
His Solomon assortion.
that he is directly descended from the great King Solomon, Judah's wisest ruler.
So the Europeans disregarded what Menelik said. But Menelik said he was a directly descent of Solomon. But and keep going. The Europeans took it as a joke.
It says Europeans regard as a great joke his Solomon assertion that he is directly descended from the great King Solomon, Judah's wisest ruler.
So again, Menelik said these things to the Europeans. The Europeans didn't tell him this.
Okay, okay. Let me pose a question to you then. So let's say he said that, right? Now, what makes it true that claim is true? How do we verify that this is actually true?
Well, what's going to happen is going to establish the truth for everybody who deny the spoken word, because the word of God is about hearing. It's not about reading. So the word of God is going to be heard. So those who deny it, what's being said, they're going to see what happens, and then they're going to know the truth.
This is where it comes from.
But, okay.
What we just read, sorry, brother, but for the comments, what we just read comes from this article
that we got behind you.
If people want to research it.
And so how do we, okay, so that's in the future, but for now, let's say if someone makes a claim, let's say another king, even the king now, let's say he makes a claim that he's from, the land of Judah, the Solomonic dynasty line. So how do we verify that this person is actually from how do we verify the bloodline?
The Europeans gonna respect him. The Europeans gonna watch him go in power, and the world gonna see it. Like I say,
No, not in the future. Like now, let's say.
No, that's what I'm saying. This gonna happen in your days. What I'm telling you is gonna happen in your time.
Yeah, but let's say, like, for example, let's say.
Right now, they have a Christ walking the earth that's proclaiming he's directly from the Solomon lineage.
Right now?
And he's going to restore the throne in Ethiopia. Right now, they have a person that's doing it. That's where all this information comes from.
Who? Abi? You talking about Abi?
No. He's in America. He's in America.
But okay, but even in the past, though, for the people that were not able to see this, right? I mean, people die every day. They're not going to be able to see this. So currently, before they're able to see it, how do they verify that? What is the mechanism for them to verify that this person that says, he's from Solomonic? How do we?
It says the generation of Emmanuel, not all generations. The Bible is about the generation of Emmanuel. It's not for all generations.
Okay, so the person that's supposed to, or the people that were supposed to kind of see this, they have to see it in their time.
No, yeah, you had to see Moses in his time, right? Moses didn't come in every generation.
But he was
Solomon didn't come in every generation. Hey, you're not gonna never see Solomon. He came. You say he came. You ain't gonna never see Moses. He came. Shit, they even say Jesus came. You ain't get to see him. So you'll never see, because remember the Bible. It's a scripture in the Bible, brother, where it says David will never lack a man to sit upon his throne. So God is gonna choose a man. Amen. Amen. No, so I hope you catch it, but that's what God has always done this.
Okay, so about for Menelik. So how do we know Menelik is from that dynasty? Menelik himself. So how do we?
This is this awareness to show you what's about to happen. You can believe it or not. It's gonna happen, and then you're gonna believe it. So this is just to show people who can hear. You don't have to. We're not forcing this on you. Like, if you don't believe it, you're gonna believe it soon. So
Yeah, no. Yeah, I mean, yeah, of course, of course. No, I'm saying even so for when Milik was here, right? He was proclaiming that he's so him. How did he prove that he was from that? Like, what was like if it was somebody else saying the same thing as Milik, how do we know which one who's telling the truth? Like, what is the mechanism for Milik during that time for the people that were living there to say, oh yeah, he is from that, the lineage of
my
Solomon?
brother, the people did believe that. Why you think a king of Wallo became a Christian? He was a Muslim. Why you think he became Christian? Because he believed Menelik was the chosen one of God.
Wait, oh, Wallo? Oh, okay. You're talking about
So
Muhammad.
so this is
So,
why he helped Menelik in all his wars.
the king
So
of Wallo. We're talking about, I know who you're talking about. The king of Wallo, the
yeah,
son,
yeah, King of Wallo, yeah. Yeah, he was the
yeah,
one
yeah.
that fought alongside of Menelik.
But you know what happened to him, right?
It's not about what
So,
happened to him. It's
What
about
what
him
what you mean? You
acknowledging
talking what happened to him
Menelik.
before he became Christian?
no, yeah. So,
Yeah, when he was with Johannes and all that. Yeah, the
no, what
war.
happened to the Wallos? So when I say Johannes came to power, what happened to
I
the
know
Wallos?
about it. Yeah, he made everybody a Christian.
Yeah,
But guess
and
what?
and he, yeah, go ahead.
But Wallo was his own king.
Right,
So he didn't help. Wallo didn't help Johannes. He helped Menelik.
right. But
Okay,
because
so
with
why did he help Menelik though?
yeah, let me tell you that
Because he
because the
considered
reason why he
Menelik as
helped
the
Milik.
chosen one.
No, so when Ate Johannes took over, Ate Johannes had no like communications. He would just go. He would say either you're a Christian or we're gonna slaughter you, and he just goes in. With Malik, he talks to the leaders. Hey, I will either you're gonna accept this and then we're gonna be friends, or I'll destroy you. And then they will say, you know what, yeah, I'll become part of your religion and part of your kingdom, and keep my kingdom. Whereas as Johannes didn't have that communication. He literally just goes out and he was just slaughtering people, and that's why he lost power so fast. He just got in, and then he lost his power. With Melik, he kept it until his death. Even when he died in Ethiopia, they were using his horse. People knew his horse, and they would just have some random person on there. They would say, "Oh, Melik is still alive." That's why they were able to keep, even after he died, to keep the people from like revolting and stuff like that. They just literally had somebody dressed up, and then they just go on his horse, and people believe, "Oh, Melik is still alive," because he was able to communicate with other leaders and kings, and have and at the same time spreading Christianity.
But Johannes was on the throne for at least 17 years, so it wasn't no quick.
No, but Milik, how long was Milik and how long was
Yeah,
Haile
Menelik
Selassie?
was longer.
Menelik
A lot
probably about
longer.
7 years longer. And shit, out of them 7 years, he was sick.
But he was still leading, whereas
4 years, 7 years, he was sick.
So, brother, what point are you really trying to justify? Because
so
we have
the point I was trying to make was the reason, because he was making the point that Haile Selassie, the reason why he is like from Solomonic is because Wallo king converted to Christianity, because that guy is the true king. But I'm saying that's not the reason. The reason is he gave him an option saying either I'm gonna destroy you or you accept Christianity, and he accepted it. Whereas Johannes didn't give him that option. He just said you guys are Christian, or we'll just he just goes in and destroys them. Whereas
so do
Milik
you,
had
do you believe in biblical prophecy? Do you believe in the Bible?
yeah.
Do you believe that Ethiopians were Jews?
Well, you see, that's like a bit tricky. When you say Ethiopians, we have like Oromos, which are Cushitic, and they're not Jewish. We have Amaras. Within Amaras, they have
I'm not talking about the ones that don't proclaim it. I'm saying that historically, are Ethiopians Jews? Does the Bible come from Ethiopia?
no.
Where's the oldest Bible from?
Well, in terms of the Old Testament, is the Dead Sea Scrolls, and then
Where's the oldest Bible from?
it's in Greek.
So the oldest Bible is in Greek.
Yeah,
Okay.
the Codex Sinaiticus, the Codex Sinaiticus, and then the Ethiopian Bible is about 4th century, and then the Codex Sinaiticus is the oldest full Old Testament. The Codex
So
Sinaiticus.
Ethiopia don't have the oldest Bible.
No, the oldest Bible we have is from the 4th century.
Where's the Ark of the Covenant?
So that's not the Bible though. The Ark of Covenant.
I'm just saying, where's the Ark of the Covenant?
Right. The Ark of Covenant is just, it's a faith. It's a faith, right?
I
In
know, but I'm
Ethiopia.
saying, where is it located?
Yeah, it's a faith. People say
Brother,
it's.
where is it located?
Nobody knows.
Okay. Well, that's all you had to say. I just want to know.
Yeah, nobody knows because people
Ethiopia.
say it's in Tigray region of Ethiopia. People say it's in Tigray region of Ethiopia. There is a church there,
Okay, so,
but no one has proved it ever. And then I
but
talked to some.
listen, why is not a European nation, or why is not in Israel?
Why is not in Israel?
Why? Yeah, why?
It's not. Yes, what I'm saying. It's not. It's not in. Okay. When King Ezra became.
So now, okay. So now, hold up. Before you say that, now you telling me you know where it's at?
No. I'm saying people claim. Like I could claim, like, hey, I have the Ark of Covenant. That doesn't mean I have it, right? King Ezra.
Okay. So is it in Ethiopia? Is it not in Ethiopia?
It's not in. Well, physically, no. People say it's in Ethiopia, but it's not in Ethiopia physically. The Ark of Covenant is not in Ethiopia.
Okay, I want to ask you this. Have you ever heard somebody say it's in Israel?
Huh? I haven't heard anyone say in Israel as well.
Have you ever heard anybody say? Now you know why? Because everything in the Bible comes from Ethiopia.
No. So King Ezra is the first person to accept Christianity and make it. So the first time Christianity entered Ethiopia was is during King Ezra. So during King Ezra, I don't know who it was, but when they I think it was from Syrian. I think a Syrian preacher came to him, and then they told him about the gospel and everything, and he accepted it, and he made the official religion of Ethiopia during that time. In Ethiopia, as we know now, I think it was either the Aksumite dynasty. He accepted Christianity, and he made Christianity the religion of the nation. And during that time, even we have tablets. Even nowadays, every year, there's something called tablet cross. They pick up this cross, and every year they walk, I think, to one church to a different church. They're called tablets. That only exists in Ethiopia. And the reason why they existed was during Ezra time, they introduced that to Ethiopia.
My brother.
And so,
we're gonna read a scripture for you. I want you to hear what you guys say about this.
Yeah,
okay,
we're gonna read a scripture.
From what is it? Okay, let me see the verse.
It's Amos. It's chapter 9. Amos chapter 9, verse 7. We don't know if you're listening.
Who you looking up the scripture? We can't hear you if you're looking up the scripture on your phone.
I thought I'm able to. Okay, go ahead.
It says, "Are ye not as children of Ethiopians unto me, O children of Israel? Saith the Lord, have not I brought Israel out of the land of Egypt, and the Philistines from Keptor, and the Syrians from Kir?" So what we wanted to focus on was, are ye not as children of Ethiopians unto me, O children of Israel?
So one thing though, when the Bible talks about Ethiopia, right? The whole region of that was called Ethiopia. Not. So that's what I'm saying. So when we talk about Bible and history,
What whole region was called Ethiopia?
So
Ethiopia
from all the way
European.
Yemen was called Ethiopia. Like the Yemen,
Brother.
all the way Sudan.
The same people.
Brother, Ethiopia is a European name. None of our ancestors used Ethiopia.
No, if you look at the spelling, I'm pretty sure in the Bible, I'm pretty sure they spelled it A-E, not E-T, right?
No.
How did they spell it? It's E-T?
It's
That's a modern. You see, that's probably a modern translation because that's a modern way of writing it. In the past, they wrote A-E-T-H.
Okay, so I want to ask you this. If that scripture talking about Ethiopians or it's talking about somebody else?
That's what I'm saying. So it's like this. It's like someone saying,
bro, that's a yes or no. Is it talking about
No.
Ethiopia or talking about somebody else?
but no, bro, like, let me explain. Ethiopia
No,
is
you
too,
gotta explain, brother.
because Ethiopia is different. The Ethiopia of that time and Ethiopia of this time is completely different.
Okay. So what you telling me? That's a different Ethiopians they talking about.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, historically, if you look at the map of Ethiopia, like of what's called Ethiopia, the modern Ethiopia is literally even 1993. Ethiopia's map has changed. Even in 1993, when Eritrea became separated, the modern Ethiopia is literally completely different. Even if you look at the Ethiopian map from the 1990s, is completely different than
Well, brother,
now.
that of course is completely different because it has been colonized. It's
No, no, no,
completely
no.
different. Hold on, brother.
Mm.
Menelik sold off Eritrea. He
Right.
sold off that land. That's why Ethiopia doesn't have a port to this day.
No, no,
So
no, no.
this is part of colonization by taking away land from the original way it was.
No, no, no.
That is
So
colonization.
we still had a port even after Milik, even under Haile
Where's
Selassie.
the port?
We lost the port.
Djibouti?
We lost the port
Djibouti?
like 27 years ago. We're not. We lost it under Meles. So after Milik, we still had the port. Under Haile Selassie, we still had the port. Under Mengistu Haile we still had the port. Under Meles, we still had the port. And then Meles is the one because they're cousins. The president of Eritrea, and the president of Ethiopia during that time, their family, they're related,
Brother,
and they made a deal happen where Eritrea got their family.
you told me
But
they got
before
two
that,
different types of Ethiopians. I'm lost. I'm gone. I'm like when you said they got two different Ethiopians.
no, no
My
map.
ears,
I'm telling you the
my
modern
ears
day
stop
map.
working,
The
bro.
modern day map is different, and the ports
We
we
ain't
had the
talking about the
ports.
map. We talking about the Ethiopians. You told me it's different Ethiopians.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Ethiopians, it doesn't. It's
So
not a
where the
group
other
of people.
Ethiopians come from,
There's no Ethiopian group of people. Ethiopia is like a nation. It's like a country.
brother? Where does the other? You said this verse was not talking about Ethiopians. It was talking about a different Ethiopian.
Yeah.
Where do they come from,
Where they come from? You know, okay. If you look at our when you do a
brother?
DNA
No.
test,
Where
if
do
you
they? Just tell me where they come from.
who
The other Ethiopians you talking about that the Bible is talking
they're
about.
in Africa, they're like so. That's what I'm saying. Ethiopia is
Brother,
not
so,
a. It's not a
brother,
race.
where in Africa do they come from?
So that region, the east. That's what I'm telling you.
They come
Ethiopia
from
used
the
to be
east.
called the whole.
Say the east then. You're not telling me. You trying to explain before you tell me. Tell me
Yeah.
first.
Because if I east, that includes the
Okay, so
Sudan.
I get it. I get
Yeah.
it. They come from the east.
Yeah, the Sudan,
Okay,
Somalia,
I
all
get it.
those
So
regions.
so it is talking about Ethiopians. So this Bible verse is talking about Ethiopia because they come from the east, right?
Yeah, Ethiopia. Yeah, the modern day Ethiopians, even Sudanese too.
You good?
No, no,
All right, brother, man. Well, thank you for coming up, brother. We do
no.
have
Let me
another
just
session.
let me just say one more thing, one last thing.
Go ahead.
Like when so the Ethiopia now, this is what I'm trying to say. The Ethiopia now is a different map. So when it says Ethiopia of the like in the Bible, it's like it's more expanded. It includes other people. What I'm saying, because if you go to Ethiopia right now, as a nation, yes, we Ethiopians. But if you go to literally the people and say, "What are you?" they will tell you literally their tribe because it's not like Ethiopian is not like a race. Like for example, a Jew. A Jew could say, "I'm a Jew," but Ethiopian, if he say he's Ethiopian, he's like when you go deep down, it's like different thing. Even Somalians are Ethiopians for now. For example, Somalians, technically speaking, if you in the Bible, you might say, oh, he's not talking about those Ethiopians. But then nowadays, Somalians are Ethiopians. You know what I'm saying? So when you
Yes,
say,
we understand that. We understand that. That's why
yeah,
we're explaining how colonization has come about in Ethiopia. Like that
He don't think
separation.
that colonization.
You don't think that's
No,
colonization?
no. He think it's supposed to be like that. Like he really thinks Somalis is different from Ethiopians. To the line right there.
yeah, in the past it used to be. That's what I'm saying. In the past, they used to have their own kingdom, separated. The Afar kingdom, they had their own kingdom. The Oromos had their own
But
kingdom.
brother, that's what you don't understand. Like the king of kings doesn't mean that there's not other kings. That's why tribes had chiefs. The chiefs were kings.
He
So
don't understand when you get on the throne, the other kings have to submit to the one who's on the throne. This is
Yeah,
why anybody ever got on the throne, they flex their power. Because
exactly.
they were the king of kings. So the king
Yeah,
of kings is a certain position that's given in East Africa. It governs East Africa.
but when did that
It
start?
governs
Is
the
what I'm saying.
world. It
But when
actually
did that
governs the
start?
world. But at
No.
that time, because nobody wanted to obey God who was of this kingdom, nobody
Yeah.
wanted to obey God, so God could never establish its power in the world. So in the
That,
last days, it was prophesied when the power of God gonna be established.
right. So in Ethiopia, the King of Kings, the first time it started after Tedros. That's what I'm saying. Before Tedros, everybody had their own kingdom, right? There was no King of Kings. And then after Tedros is like, you know what? We're gonna make one, whole of Ethiopia. And he started it. He didn't finish it. He died before that. And Minilik is the one who actually brought Ethiopia together, like the Union, Oromos, Afar, Somalia, all these regions that had their own kingdom. After through a war, they all became one under him. So it was during Melik. Before Ati Tedros, people had their own kingdom. That's why when you say Ethiopia, and in the Bible, he's talking about complete Ethiopia because the modern Ethiopia became after Tedros, and then Menelik, and then Haile Selassie kind of solidified everything, and then it was Meles that literally drew the last line, like the one we know modern Ethiopia. It was Meles Zenawi that made that happen at the end, but the Bible, when it's Ethiopia, it's talking about the Ethiopia before Tedros. Before Tedros, the Bible, the Ethiopia before the Bible is before Tedros, which means that's probably Abyssinia and Aksum. And if you look at the Aksum map, it was not the modern Ethiopia. It's just the northern and Yemen, the
Have you
Aksumites.
ever found a date in the Bible?
Huh?
Have you ever found a date in the Bible
The date of what?
of any event?
No, but I could tell, like, I know where, the Bible is from the 4th century, so I have to know.
So you don't know in the Bible
No, you could infer
what
though.
you're praying to because it have no dates in them. Now, the Europeans have put dates in the Bible and made you believe in the history that they so-called the Bible. But last time I checked, when you prophesize, you talking about the future.
And
the whole world know the Bible is prophecies.
And the other
Right. Let's say if there's prophecies.
Brother, the other translation of Ethiopia is Cushites. So if you don't want to, it's not, Ethiopia hasn't always been called Ethiopia.
But Kushites is a specific group though. So in Ethiopia we have Semites and Kushites. So if it says Kushites, what happens to the Semites then?
Brother, that's one thing. It's a mind frame. That's like a Jew. Tedros was considered a Jew. His brothers wasn't. They was the same people. But Tedros was a Jew because he was connected to God and they wasn't. That's all it really means, bro. So, at the same time, like I said, it's a lot of allegory you got to understand. And if you're not childlike, if you're not ready to receive something, God can't give it to you. He's just gonna make it happen. So right now, God making things happen, and the whole world gonna see that what's being done. It was told first. So this is being told to you before it's done to see if you want to accept it or not. To see if you want to have faith in God, because faith come by hearing. It don't come by history. It don't come from reading a book.
Right.
Faith come by hearing. So God got the power to put the word in people just like he did in the book. That's why God don't put nothing in the book. That's why God don't write the book.
Yeah.
God gonna write it on what? The book say God gonna write it on our hearts. And when God write it on our hearts, we gonna be able to speak it. And those who able to hear, they gonna hear. That's why the Bible say, let those who have ears hear. You see what I'm saying? So right now we speaking some information, brother, that's just coming from God. It's not coming from the books, not coming from history, it's coming from God. And this is stuff that's being told before it happened. So you can be prepared if you take heed to it. But we appreciate you coming up though, brother, man. Brother, we just got other guests that we gotta let up.
Yep, pretty good. And just like I'm gonna leave after this, my bad. So, do you think the modern day Ethiopia is so like? Do you think this one when you say Ethiopia, like, do you think the Bible talking about the modern day Ethiopia, like the way it is now?
No. The Bible is talking about the prophecy because Ethiopia got to be changed. So the Bible is not strictly talking about. The Bible is talking about the people that came from Ethiopia.
The scattered.
Yeah, the scattered people. The Bible not talking about because that's what I'm saying. This is why Ethiopians don't want to say they're the biblical people, because the biblical people are not in their land. The biblical people are scattered. So the telling of the world is when the biblical people come back to their land, they're going to heal the world. You see what I'm saying? But this is the Bible prophecy.
Because if Ethiopians admit that they have been scattered, that means that colonization came about. That means colonization happened in Ethiopia. If they became scattered, they weren't scattered just by themselves. They were taken from their land. This is what the Bible is all about. This is what the Jews went through.
That's why the fake Jews went back to a land that wasn't theirs.
And then the Europeans created a false Israel and then took Ethiopians by plane and took them to Israel, to take them to their Israel.
To be slaves.
So they can establish a fake Israel and have authority over those Ethiopian Jews.
Yeah, that happened. Yep. This has been a pretty productive talk. Thank you very much, guys. And I took too long too. I'm sorry about that, but thank you very much. And you enjoy the rest of your days.
Anytime, man. Anytime, bro. All good, bro. That's what we up for conversation.
Yep. Thank you. Bye.
Appreciate it.
That person keeps leaving.
Ooh.
Some Ethiopian, I don't know what. But
Yeah, that fire, what it is, that fire come up.
I didn't mean to bring this guy up. We just talked to him.
Oh, yeah, we gotta go to another guest.
Peace, brother. We're gonna go to the other guests. You can request later. We might come back to you. Everybody leaving, huh?
I'm good. I'm tired.
They need to stop that thing, man.
I need to do a video on that. How European bad that smacking.
Oh, yeah,
They good.
I was about to hit my thing. Can you guys explain how Ethiopia was colonized? Don't bring up random topics. We've talked about how. What do you mean random topics? The topic is about the historical information and events that happened in Ethiopia. That's not random. That's explaining how they've been colonized.
How's everybody doing? How you doing, Arch?
Drinks.
What's up, brother? Peace, peace.
Peace, bro. There's something kind of wrong with this narrative that you think. This live has been all over the place. A lot of things have been said. A lot of things that are incorrect, I might add. But more interestingly is. You feel Ethiopia was colonized? Why? Because the Second Ethio-Italian War? Is that why?
Well, no, you gotta go back to 1868 when the reason why Tedros was actually arresting the missionaries. They got a whole book on it. What Tedros saying they was changing the Christian doctrine.
Yeah, well, do
So
you
so
know?
you had missionaries
Yeah,
in
I mean,
18.
Tedros was definitely a
You
revolutionary.
gotta hear me out. If you want to, you want to know why. So I'm saying, so if Tedros was they had missionaries in 1868
Yeah,
changing
but
Ethiopian doctrine.
well, let me tell you
What you
something
think
maybe
they
you're not
did?
aware of, right?
Brother, you're
As
not
far
even
as
listening.
no. Listen to me, Aju. You're talking about you're
Hell
talking about when
no,
the
I'm not,
British.
brother. I'm not finna listen to nobody who can't listen to me.
Oh,
I
I'm
didn't
sorry.
make
Go
a
ahead.
panel. I don't make a panel to listen to people. I make a panel to
Okay.
have a conversation. For one thing,
Oh yeah. I mean,
you
yeah.
know,
Let's have a
actually,
conversation, a
I be
dialogue.
courteous to listen. I'm courteous to listen. You know, so it's no way I'm gonna have a conversation with nobody that can't listen to me. Oh no, it's
To have a dialogue, one person has to speak, brother. You can't just keep talking. Like, you're not listening to what we're saying.
he
You
not
just
even.
want to
Yeah, he
just.
want a rebuttal. He ready
It's
to
not
rebuttal.
colonized. Like it.
No, I'm listening. I'm listening. I was in the middle of speaking. That's why. But go
You
ahead.
asked
Yeah.
me a question. You wasn't in the middle of speaking. You asked me a question, and you didn't even let me explain.
Yeah. No, go ahead. I was building on my question, but go ahead. Okay. Yeah. Go ahead. I could listen. No problem.
So what I was trying to tell you is Tedros was getting rid of missionaries that was changing Christianity and Ethiopian original Christianity in 1868, and these same European nations became friends with Ethiopia. That shows you colonization. When you go to Ethiopia, you see a white Jesus. That's colonization. If Ethiopia was not colonized, it was no way a white Jesus will ever exist nowhere in Ethiopia. It'll be impossible to put a white Jesus in there. But
I
they
mean,
can't because they colonized. Go ahead.
yeah. Well, okay. So as far as the missionaries that Theodros was imprisoning, you're talking about the British missionaries, or you're talking about the Ethiopian clergy
The
specifically?
British missionaries.
The
Okay, so
British.
the British missionary. So let me tell you guys something about this, right? Theodros was on the verge of modernizing his army. So he wrote to Queen Victoria to send
You
in
trying to tell us
people.
history? We trying to we know the history. We know all that. Let's get to the point
No.
of the colonization.
So let me speak. Yeah. So the reason he imprisoned the British monks was because Queen Victoria, instead of sending him skilled artisans to help him build cannons and modernize his army, they were sending him Protestant missionaries. And as you guys are aware, Theodros was an Orthodox Christian. So he wrote back to Queen Victoria. He said, what I need is not missionaries. Like, you cannot teach me anything about Christianity. That's not what we asked you of. So he got upset and he started rounding up the missionaries that Queen Victoria sent him. So how does that...
Hold up. Why would he have to round them up if they were sent to him?
They were sent to him.
These missionaries was not sent to him. He locked them up because they were spreading false information. And he locked them up and he put them to work. He said, I'm going to lock you up. And a lot of these missionaries was giving wives and everything. They was giving houses. They was giving salary. You see what I'm saying? So to say he just locked them in a cage like that, this is what I'm saying. I know the history details.
No, I don't
so
think
I'm not trying to learn anything.
I don't think
We're trying to have a conversation about if missionaries was in Ethiopia in 1868, and these same people are now friends with Ethiopians, and these are the same people. The British is who colonized Africa. The British is who run America.
Again,
so if Ethiopia is friends with the colonizers, what make them?
They weren't friends. Obviously, they were adversaries. They to the point where
no. They was friends after all the kings passed. Now they became friends.
No, they're never friends.
You talk Ethiopians right now. You say British. British is our friend.
No, what you're talking about? The current government in Ethiopia might say something silly like that, but not the people. Well, you're not.
That's because it's colonized.
No. Again, that's not what colonization means. Colonization means a nation sails oceans, comes over, takes over your land, and administers it. That's what colonization is, right? That never happened in Ethiopia's history, right? Italy did manage to invade and occupy for 5 years while facing constant resistance.
Brother,
and not only that,
you can't resist an airplane coming over your head dropping a bomb. You can't resist that. You can't resist if you got machine gun.
Not only did we resist it, with the help of when Haile Selassie came back, they threw out the Italians, defeated them once.
Brother. Haile Selassie came back with who?
His allies, which he made the British an ally because.
Okay, again, so now
and mind you, let me finish, Yaju.
Hold on, look how you say, hold on, brother. No, you can't. How British going? You see this right here, bro? Britain and Italy are working together.
Okay. Again, you're missing. See, you're missing the sequence of events.
I'm missing.
Yes,
this 1925.
I know you're missing the sequence of events. So let me explain to you. So, as you both know, that Italy and England are both European nations, right? They were out in the scramble for Africa. There are both parties involved in that. So yes. So what happens in World War II? World War II, Italy allies with Germany. They're the Axis powers, right? And England and Axis went to war against each other. And Haile Selassie used that event to his advantage and pulled the British into his own personal war, which he used to defeat the Italians once again. How great the man was. He made.
Why did Great Britain have to stay at Ethiopia for so long?
One another.
So I want to ask you this: why did Great Britain stay in Ethiopia so long after the Italians left?
What so long? A couple of months?
Oh no, they stayed about 10 years.
No, they did not. See, again, you don't know. You do not know.
Okay. I'm about to pull it up.
Okay.
How long did Great Britain stay in Ethiopia after the Italian invasion?
I mean, they did bring a military there. It takes months to get that, back to their homeland. So I don't know what you're talking about. Them staying for years. Where did you get that from, Yaju?
British control over all areas, including the Hague region, ended completely in 1955.
So Britain stayed all the way from 1941 to 1955 controlling most of Ethiopia.
That's absolutely false. That's categorically false. The British packed up and left in 1941. 1942, in fact. The military was completely out of Ethiopia.
brother.
1942. Haile Selassie was a sovereign for all 44 years of his rule. There was not a single body above him in Ethiopia. Not one.
Brother. I see now you a Haile Selassie worshiper.
No, I'm just telling you the facts.
Brother. Any king that leave, brother, Great Britain would never be an ally with Ethiopia.
They were an ally only because of World War II. You're not listening.
Great Britain and European nations have been had their eyes on Ethiopia to strip Ethiopia, to take from Ethiopia,
I agree.
to rob Ethiopia.
I agree.
They never have ever became Ethiopian friend unless they was benefiting. And guess what? They benefit, the Ethiopians lose. So we all know once Haile Selassie went to Great Britain for help, he went to his enemies. Matter of fact, he went to his friends' enemies for help. And you don't call that defeat? It's nothing else we can talk. It's like I don't know what to explain.
I'm not understanding your view on World War
II. You gotta realize this.
A world war,
brother. You gotta realize this. When Italians came in, and then the British came in, what Ethiopian army did they have? They didn't have no army. Hold on. Listen first. Ethiopia didn't have no army. That's why they had to ask British to get an army for them. So what did
have an army? We had an army that was fighting those 5 years of occupation.
They didn't have the power to fight, brother. They was getting masked, brother. Why do you think the Italians became the emperor?
Well, I mean, obviously Italy was a more advanced nation, right? At that time, they had a mechanized army, they had an air force, they had all these things the Ethiopian military did not have, right? At the time. So what's
all right, brother? We good. Thank you for coming up.
No, but see, you guys see, there's a way of understanding history that's being skewed. I think you guys are tarnishing like the little things we have as black people that we could be proud of. You guys are out here trying to tarnish that. I don't understand.
Brother, we're not tarnishing. We're not tarnishing it. These are things that have happened. The monarchy is not there in Ethiopia, brother. And that was not because of us.
No, I'm giving you the Ethiopian perspective from what your topics are, right?
The Ethiopians need to realize that they will be slain by the sword. They will be in lies. The whole world is under deception. If they believe in the Bible,
you think you're going to educate an Ethiopian as far as what the world views it towards it and what they want?
Yeah, we're gonna do that. Yeah,
Ethiopians, African Americans are connected to Ethiopia, brother. African Americans, hold on, you talking so much. African Americans are connected to Ethiopian history. This is why we can have a say.
And I want to ask him this: can God teach an Ethiopian? Can God teach an Ethiopian?
Can God teach in Ethiopia? God could teach anywhere he pleases.
Okay, so God chooses people to bring a world a message. So the one that God chooses is going to bring Ethiopians a message that they don't have. And it's going to teach them something. And that's what's happening.
Oh,
that's what we're saying.
God sending prophets? Is that what you're referring to?
Well, the prophecy is about God raising up one from David. Mm-hmm. And he's going to restore the throne of David. That's the Bible prophecy.
Okay, so which throne of David? The throne in Israel or the throne in Ethiopia?
The throne in Ethiopia.
There's no throne in Israel.
Why isn't there a throne in Israel? What do you mean there's no throne in Israel?
It's not a throne in Israel.
You talking about the Middle East, Israel?
There is no king in Israel currently, as there is no king in Ethiopia either, but...
There's no king in Israel because Israel was created in 1948.
Well, modern day Israel, correct?
Yeah, the modern day Israel is no other Israel, unless you're going to talk about Ethiopia.
How about biblical Israel?
Biblical Israel is Ethiopia, bro.
Isn't real, exactly, isn't real.
Biblical Israel is Ethiopia.
What do you mean? Biblical? What does that mean?
The colonizers had erased that from history.
Wait, what does that mean, though? When you say biblical Israel is Ethiopia, you're saying the events that... Okay, for example... you saying the Canaanites were in Ethiopia? Are
Brother,
you saying
you gotta understand when you deal with those, when you
are
deal
you
with biblical
saying when
names.
Moses took the Israelites out of Egypt, they came to Ethiopia? Is that what you're saying?
No,
I'm talking.
Israel, Egypt mean bondage. Egypt don't mean. That's why America's. I mean, right now what we living in is called spiritual Egypt. So when you
I'd
deal
say
with
more like
Egypt,
Babylon, but
Egypt mean
okay.
bondage. Egypt mean out of worship. So it don't mean Moses went to an actual place and took them. Moses took them from their mind frame and tried to give them and try to bring them into the covenant of God. But Israel didn't want to come. So Israel didn't actually follow Moses. They rejected Moses, as the scriptures tell us. So although Moses took them, they went back into what? Egypt, which is idol worship and lies. So, but like I said, this is the message that's coming from the message that God has in the earth. This is the new song that the Bible talk about in Revelation. That only certain people gonna learn because they got the ears to hear and the eyes to see. So yes, right now all Ethiopians, as the Bible say, gonna be slain by the sword. The sword is the tongue, because the truth is gonna cut everybody, no matter where you from. So that's what we saying, and that's what we standing on. That's why this whole topic is up here is about fulfilling the prophecy of God that the world has been colonized to not understand.
Yeah, so as far as the world being deceived and all that, we're in agreement. What I'm saying is, for you to get this message across, when you throw in a tag like Ethiopia is colonized, I'm trying to get to the bottom of where you're getting this feeling from.
So if the world is deceived, the whole world, including Ethiopia, is deceived, and the whole world thinks that Ethiopia has never been colonized, don't you think that's part of the deception?
So you think the deception is the reality that Ethiopia was never colonized? That's the
No,
part
no, that's
I'm
only
not
part of it, brother.
understanding.
No. Oh, what? That's crazy.
That's the part I'm not understanding.
Well,
You're
no,
saying that.
brother. It's like colonization is changing your mind. It's changing your history. It's changing your culture. What makes Ethiopia great is the kings. The
Okay,
the European nations respected the king of Ethiopia.
yeah, I mean, yes, I agree.
Okay,
I agree.
so
We
right now
definitely
the
lost
European
a
nations
level. Ethiopia
destroyed
as
the
a
king.
nation, I feel we lost a level of protection when we lost our monarchy. I absolutely agree with that.
And that's all we saying. So when you lost the monarchy, that's when the colonizers were able to come in and bring their influence.
Well,
That's colonization. Now, a lot of people think
okay.
colonization is staying over somebody and saying, "Do what I do." No,
so then you'd have
colonization
to
is
get
coming
to.
over, putting leaders in position, as Great Britain been doing. They put Johannes in position.
Yeah, I mean, he betrayed Tedros. Yes.
Yeah, and they put him in position because they gave him the weapons so he could have the most powerful army in Ethiopia. That's how he became king. But that came from influence of who? Because he was he wasn't smart. All he wanted was power. So if I'm a colonizer, I'm gonna use this person against his own people. And he not gonna even know why I'm helping him. He not gonna even know why
Okay,
I'm using him.
when you're framing it like that, yeah, like I could even agree to what you just said because yeah, if we look at it historically, you could definitely view Johannes as a puppet. He was instilled like he was given that position to betray the King of Kings. So yes, okay.
Okay, so now look at it this way then, brother. The same reason black Americans is colonized because they put puppets over us.
It's neo-colonization. It's the same thing.
That's how they colonize the world. That's the tactic of all European nations.
Right.
This is why we say Ethiopia is colonized. Not to diminish Ethiopia for what? Because we up here proclaiming these things. We're restoring the throne. So we're not diminishing Ethiopia, but for us to fix the problem, we got to know the problem. If we don't know the problem, we're going to keep living the problem.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe like again, I'm giving you an Ethiopian perspective, right? I've followed you for a couple of years now. Just recently, I've seen lives you've held where you're tarnishing Haile Selassie.
No, I'm
That's the
not.
part I'm not understanding.
I'm not tarnishing nothing. I'm telling the truth.
No, no,
And
no. It's not.
listen, every
What is the truth
king,
about Haile Selassie? Okay, tell me about Haile Selassie.
every king that sat on King David's throne did bad things. It's not one king that sat on the throne that didn't do bad things. You know.
I mean,
So
the
when I
kings were
speak of Haile
human. The
Selassie, I
humans.
don't give him the praise that they give him.
Who?
Even
Who?
Haile Selassie said, "Don't look at me as a deity."
He's not a deity. He's a
Okay,
king.
now
He's an
Haile
emperor.
Selassie poisoned a man.
He was
He
a man.
poisoned actually it was an ambassador that Menelik sent over here. Haile Selassie had him poisoned. Now if he poisoned him, I'm pretty sure what happened to Zatu. And I can't say because I wasn't there, so I don't say a lot of things.
I mean, yeah. If we're talking about
But it's speculation. And no,
like,
when people
if we're
say I
talking about
tarnish Haile Selassie,
yeah, but
Haile
you're talking
Selassie
about like
got on the throne because people got unalive. Haile Selassie didn't get
that's
on the
how every
throne due to
emperor got on
divine
the
power.
throne. What's the point? Every emperor got on the throne like that. What do you mean?
Huh?
They all got on the throne like that.
But no, not Tedros.
You know,
No. Hold on. For one thing,
okay, so
hold on.
Tedros,
No.
I have a,
Hold on.
I
Just
have a
let me say
personal
this. I'm
connection to
gonna give you the
Tedros.
mic because I just want to make myself clear since you asked me about Haile Selassie.
Okay, go ahead.
When a king passed, Menelik got on the throne. When the king passed, Haile Selassie wasn't even in the lineup. So the way he got on the throne is totally
He was
different
the
from any
regent. He
other
was the
emperor.
regent. What do you mean he wasn't in the lineup? He was the regent.
No,
Haile Selassie is.
Menelik had his 10-year-old nephew supposed to be on the throne, which was Zatu's nephew.
Well, no, I mean, Haile Selassie himself is
I mean,
Menelik's.
not Zatu's nephew. It was Menelik, grandson and Zatu's nephew.
Yeah, his grandson. You're talking about
Yeah,
Regent.
his grandson. But that's what I'm saying. Haile Selassie wasn't the grandson Menelik had.
No. But what you have to understand is, as far as the Solomonic
Haile
dynasty,
Selassie was living. You know,
listen,
so that's what I'm saying. Haile Selassie didn't get on the throne like the rest of the kings.
no, that's how they.
It's facts.
Let me explain it to you. Okay, brother. The Solomonic dynasty. This is, a heritage all the emperors had to be part of to claim that the title of King of Kings. Right now, if you see I think it's 244 kings since Menelik the First. They all had to be the top, on top, the head honcho. You had to take out the competition. This is just how it worked. You know how many people were unalived in that process? Thousands over the thousands of years.
Okay, but that's what I'm saying. Haile Selassie was able to do these things because of his foreign affairs. What was Haile Selassie's job before he became king? Dealing with what?
He was the crown regent. He was basically while Menelik was sick. In all reality, he's the one who wielded true power.
No.
But he was the regent. See, Menelik did not have any sons. That was what the problem was. He only had some.
Okay, that's what I'm saying. So, okay, that's why he chose. That's why he chose his grandson. We got that part.
Right.
Okay, we chose his grandson. But that's what I'm saying. Haile Selassie wasn't in the lineup. He was by his position. It's like right now you got a president, but you got the vice president, right? Something happened to the president, and now the vice president step up. He wasn't elected president.
No, but that's not how it works in monarchies, is what I'm telling you. That's not. It's bloodline. If you have the blood, if you have that bloodline, anyone
But it wasn't a bloodline with Haile Selassie. That's what it was. This position.
No, it was his bloodline as well. You do understand that Haile Selassie's fathers and Menelik were cousins, right? They come.
Yes.
They share the same.
Okay. So you telling me Menelik bloodline is from Solomon, right?
Absolutely.
So Solomon is from Ethiopia, right?
Israel, the king of Israel. Sheba was the one who's from Ethiopia.
So Solomon settled in Ethiopia, right?
No, Solomon was the king of Israel.
So Solomon. So When did Solomon descendants get in Ethiopia?
Because Sheba, her name is Queen Makeda. This is the Queen of Sheba. She was the Queen of Ethiopia.
I got that part. We everybody know that.
She went to visit Solomon because she heard about his wiseness.
Brother, you telling the story. I want to know when
I'm telling you how they ended up in Ethiopia. I'm telling you how they. I'm going to tell you. Just bear with me. Bear with
Go
me.
ahead.
It was not going to take long. Right? So she went and had a son with him. Right. She brought her son back. Her son is crowned the king of Ethiopia. On his 21st birthday, he goes to visit his father in Israel. And then his father.
Hold up. So Queen Sheba went to Israel, made love to Solomon, went back to Ethiopia and had a son.
Yes.
And he was crowned king of Ethiopia.
Yes.
But David's descendants rule Israel, right?
Well, yeah, I mean Solomon had, as you know, he had many concubines and many children.
We know, I'm just saying, but we got that. But don't the bloodline of David rule Israel?
Yeah.
So why Menelik wasn't in Israel?
Again, because his mother is Sheba.
But brother, he don't rule the sons of David as being a son of David, a bloodline of Solomon. You don't rule Ethiopia. You rule Israel.
Hold on a second. So Sheba had her own kingdom, Saba.
Oh.
It's Ethiopia. It's its own separate entity, its own kingdom, right? She had a son with the king of Israel. That son was not crowned in Israel. He was crowned in Ethiopia. His mother's land.
But brother, you said that already. We got that part.
Yeah, and we're not talking about
Solomon bloodline, which is David bloodline, rules where?
You know there are
brother. Because the conversation is, brother, it's a question, and I just need an answer. I don't need you to explain nothing. Where does the bloodline of David, which is the bloodline of Solomon, where do the Bible clarifies they rule? Where's they rule?
Israel.
So why Haile Selassie, Tedros, Johannes, Menelik, why are they not in Israel ruling?
Because they're Ethiopians. Their lineage, I told you, there's a...
So where's the Solomon lineage in Israel?
Yes, there's also in Israel. I mean, Solomon's lineage, Solomon had what, 1,000 concubines? Could you imagine?
Okay, so you telling me,
Solomon's lineage probably at one point.
So what you telling me, when the Bible says Solomon and David is going to rule over Israel, that ain't happened yet.
What do you mean they did? I mean, this is past events.
So show me the evidence like you showed me the evidence in Ethiopia.
What, that Solomon ruled in Israel?
Yeah. No, not Solomon. Solomon descendants. We talking about Solomon descendants.
Yeah, I mean.
So show me some of Solomon descendants ruling Israel.
Well, you got to look at the kings of Israel after Solomon. Who do you think they were?
I see Menelik in the 1900s. So show me the 1900 king that was ruling Israel. Show me the 1800 king that was living in Israel.
You know, as you well are aware, the Romans conquered Israel, and that kingship was long gone. And
hold on, what Romans? Hold up.
All over the world.
What Romans conquered Israel?
There was no modern day Israel in the.
Brother, no. What Romans conquered Israel?
Which Romans? The Roman Empire.
What Roman? The British Empire?
No, the Roman Empire. What do you mean the British Empire? I'm talking about the Romans.
Who are the Romans?
Who are the Romans? I don't understand.
Are you speaking of the Europeans?
The Roman Empire. You don't know about...
Brother, are you speaking of the Europeans?
I mean, the Roman Empire covered most of it.
That's a yes or no. You speaking of the Europeans or you not speaking of the Europeans?
I'm talking about the Roman Empire, which controlled damn near all of Europe.
So you talking about Great Britain then?
Huh?
You talking about Great Britain?
No, I'm not talking about Great Britain.
So who controls Europe right now?
Excuse me?
Who controls Europe?
who controls Europe right now? I mean, in the modern world, it's all about the
Brother,
financial
man, you know
institution.
what, bro? Hey, bro, man, I appreciate you coming up, bro. We gonna move on, man. Thank you for coming up, brother.
I mean, I'm trying to understand what
Peace,
you
peace.
guys
It's
are
all
saying.
good, brother.
Explain it to me.
It's all
What do
good,
you
brother.
like? You want a specific person? I mean, I'm not.
Brother, I
I'm
don't
not
want a
a.
specific person. You are running from the question. The people, the crown has always been in Great Britain. When Tedros is writing to Great Britain, Great Britain has been in power. They haven't been running the world forever, but they've been in power for a pretty long time. You know, they done had power over the European nation. This is facts. Everybody know
I
this.
mean, yeah.
So
I'll
you
say
telling
in the
me
last
the
400 years, Great Britain
same
came
people
out with
that
their
colonized
superpower.
Solomon is the same people that Haile Selassie isn't friends with. So you didn't want to go down there because that's the road I was gonna take you down.
No,
The
I'm
same
willing
people
to go down any
that
road. I'm not
colonized my
understanding which
cousin,
road it is.
I'm gonna make them my friends. Come on, man. All right, brother,
Who?
man. Thank you for coming up,
Wait,
bro.
wait, wait, wait. Again, wait. Let me just say this. So you're talking about why did the British help Haile Selassie? Is that what's an issue in
No,
being?
no, no. It's bigger than
It's
that.
deeper than
It's
that.
understanding that the same people who you say colonized Israel, is the same people that Haile Selassie is now friends with. It don't make
What are you
sense.
talking about? The Romans colonized Great Britain. What are you talking about?
The Romans colonized Great Britain. So who are the
Absolutely.
Romans then?
Not only did they colonize Great
Bro,
Britain,
no,
even
no,
like
no,
their
no, no, no.
capital, London, was
Tell me who
named
the
after
Romans
one of
is,
their
because
admirals.
you can only say that until you identify the Romans. Identify the Romans.
So you're talking about like as far as who's? Do you know about like Julius Caesar and Augustus and all
I
those?
identify the Romans. Where do they come from? What land?
Oh, modern day. Oh, okay. So, okay. See, that's what I mean. I didn't understand what you were asking me. What the Romans are like? I thought you were asking me like who are
Just
the
answer the
Romans?
question,
What
bro.
land
Modern.
they come from?
Well, as its name states, Rome, modern day Rome, which is
All
in
right, brother,
Italy.
man. All right, thank you for coming up, bro. Peace, peace.
Am I correct, or is that the
No,
answer
you're
you?
wrong. I don't know no modern day. We talking about ancient times. Where do the Romans come from?
Well, where did they come from? They came from Italy. Well, what is today known as
You
Italy?
tell yo man. I don't know nothing about no Romans, so that's why I asked you. Where do Romans come from?
Okay, so that's what I'm saying. Like, how do you want me to answer this? What is
All
today?
right, bro. You ain't gotta answer it. I'm holler at you. Peace out.
Does that?
You know why he didn't want to answer? Because he was gonna have to signify that people don't want the truth to be established. This is what y'all looking at. This is what you seeing. People do not want the truth to be established, and this is the evil in the earth.
They make it seem like being colonized is like
Oh
the
man.
worst. Like I don't even understand it.
Like I said, it just the word, it says the wicked and adulterous generation. Either they love Babylon. You see what I'm saying? You know how somebody, fall in love with the trick? They fell in love with the trick. You be like, you gonna fall in love with that? Nigga be like, yeah, man, you better not touch her again. You see what I'm saying? This is what we dealing with. Because this Babel at its finest. How you turn around and said Solomon dynasty in Israel has been colonized first. But when you get with Sheba dynasty, which is connected to Solomon, who colonized it? You have to say Great Britain. And if you say Great Britain, how can Ethiopia be friends with the people that colonized their cousins?
And the Italians, Rome is in Italy. Rome is in Italy.
I'm through for the day, man. Like I said, that
We'll
way.
do 'em. There's one more person we'll bring up, I think.
Y'all, this is madness, man.
Hello, I'm an Ethiopian, and I think we're trying to rewrite history. If you know the definition of colonization, if you look at the systems that are in place in Ethiopia, I don't think it's accurate to say. If you want to talk about occupied, that's another story altogether. But to sit here and say that Ethiopia was colonized, it doesn't make any sense. I mean, we have history. We can read in the books. Unless you want to say the history books are fake, and if you want to go into conspiracy, that's another situation altogether. But,
So do you think that Ethiopian leaders having agreement and working together and thinking that, looking at Italians as Ethiopians is not part of corruption, not part of
Corrupt.
neo-colonization?
Well, corruption, neocolonialism is different from colonization. I mean, there are two distinct things. If you talk about neocolonization, yes, I would concur. But
What is the
to
purpose of
say
neo-colonialism? Because neo-colonialism comes from the word colonization. So what is the purpose of neo-colonialism?
I said, I mean, I came to the conclusion, and I told you I do believe that neocolonialism is not only the case of Ethiopia, but many nations across the globe are suffering from that. You're talking about the
We don't say that.
colonization period in Africa. I mean, during that time, as it were, colonization proper by the European powers, then I would say no. If you talk about neocolonialism, then yes, I would concur with that.
So, but brother, this is what we saying, brother. Africa was neo-colonized. So the colonization that was most effective by the Europeans was neo-colonization. Neo-colonization. That was the most effective. Because it makes you think you're not. So they don't even have to fight you no more. That's why Italians came there and slaughtered so many chiefs. Because this is how you deal with life or anything. When you go in the wild right now and you take out the dominant male, if you remove all the dominant males, you can have other males, but now you can't control the rest of the species because all the dominant males are gone. So this is what Italian did with the airplanes and with the machine guns. Got rid of all the dominance that was in Ethiopia to bring Great Britain in. And that's why Great Britain stayed in so long. Because even the ones that were left over, that was dominant, Great Britain got rid of them. That's why people say when Haile Selassie came back, it was a slaughtering going on. Great Britain was still there. You see what I'm saying? So this is colonization at its finest. Great Britain is the same people that colonized Africa. Why would they leave you out?
No, I'll tell you what, Amit, sorry, about the British. Yes, you are right. The British were there for some time. In as much as Britain, the government or the imperial government or Haile Selassie worked with the British, I think it would be a stretch to say he was colonized, because if we see about colonialism proper, and we see how that transpired throughout the rest of Africa, I mean, it was complete subjugation, it was complete control, it was, you know, the extrapolation of the resources. It was, I mean, that's clear. I mean, we can go to history and we can go and look at the definitions of it. But yes, was he working with the British to an extent? Because essentially what he was trying to do was play the powers against each other to his benefit. But I think if we say that, as I said, I agree with you about the new colonialism, 100%. That's incontrovertible. But if we're speaking about that period in which Britain came, took over, subjugated, that did not happen in Ethiopia. As I said, yes, there was a brief occupation, but occupation, I mean, a lot of European countries occupied one another, but we don't say that they colonized one another. So occupation and colonization are two separate, in the things. That's the point I wanted to make. In any event, thank you for your for the discussion, and yeah, I'll come again next time.
All right, brother. Peace, man. You know, and I think people got to understand, I think a lot of Ethiopians are looking totally a whole different way of what colonization means. Colonization is changing of the... Somebody said it when they came here, you take the mind, you take the body. Once the mind is gone, you take the body. It's just... So, if I got your mind, I got you. So, if neo-colonization is not about touching and being somebody standing over you, it's about changing your mind. You have the colonized mind. So the way Ethiopians are moving is based off the colonized mind. The way the world is moving, based off the colonized mind. So if neo-colonization happened to everybody, then what that make Ethiopia? Colonized. Because you don't have your mind. You have to colonize. This is why we keep putting this title up, because we have to get people to understand that. You know, if you don't understand that part, you really, it's like it's going, everything gonna be going, and we'll never fix the problem. The problem never get fixed. If I'm sick, you know, and somebody got some medicine for me, but I keep saying I ain't sick, I'm not gonna never take the medicine until what? I say I'm sick, and then what? Now I can't receive the medicine. So we up here with God healing herbs, God healing medicine. So that's why we're trying to help people understand that we are sick. That's why Christ what? Is a serpent wrapped around the pole. The healing of the nation. That's why they got it on all hospitals. So it's emergency. When the ambulance come, it got it got the snake with the what? Wrapped around the pole, bringing healing. So this is flashing lights. It's a loud sound, and it's for healing of the nations. You know, so like I said, we overlooking the fact and the problem. If anybody is neo-colonized, then that means they don't have their mind, so they don't have their body. So the way they are moving is according to the colonizers. It's really just that simple, y'all.
Are we good, or I think I was gonna bring this guy.
I'm through, y'all. It's Saturday, man.
What's it called again?
We got some good summer weather, and I've been in here talking to y'all for how long? Oh yeah, we going 4 hours. Oh yeah, man. Yeah, I gotta let y'all have it, man. The recording gonna be on YouTube, y'all.
Yeah, go check out the website.
You know, all this information is about restoring the prophecy of God. We're not just up here to bash Ethiopia. We're not here to talk down on nobody. We up here to uplift us as a human beings. The whole world, no matter what color, creed, or color you is, you have been lied to, you have been colonized. Ethiopia plays a big part in this because it's connected to God prophecy. You know, it's like if I was running for president, I'm going to go to Washington, D.C. I'm not going to go to every state in America. If I'm politicking, the best place to be is Washington, D.C. So if I'm politicking for the world, the best place to be is what? Ethiopia. That's why the African Union is there. So don't get it twisted to where we doing this to pick on something. This is all connected to what we doing. And as you was just told, check out the website so you can truly understand. We got a link. You can ask questions, send us a message. You could, we got the Monday call. So this is connected to a movement. It's not connected to emotions. So remove the emotions. Come talk to your brothers and sisters so we can change the world or help each other change the world. With that being said, as always, I hope the Father has circumcised y'all hearts and ears for the message. Peace and blessings, y'all.
Peace.
We out.